Welcome to the Illustrated Underground.
What's good, everybody? What's good?
All right, so this is another segment in our Batman-centric episode. We're here with some crazy Batman fans, and we're just gonna talk Batman with the fans. I mean, we talked to a creator, and that was great, right?
Yeah, no, I was.
All right, so
all right.
I'm John Quincy.
My name is Ryan.
On the computer digital end, we have, if you guys wanna...
Cosmic, you want to go first?
Cosmic Collector. I'm on TikTok, Instagram. Batman fan.
Robert or Rob the Bat. Basically everywhere, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, me and Quincy went to college together, and that's how I ended up here, because I am kind of like just the massive Batman fan that he knows.
To start off, you guys grab, if you can, grab your favorite Batman piece of memorabilia.
Memorabilia?
Like an action figure or
can't
something.
Take it off. Like the wall, because it's glued down. Up there is a frame of animation from Batman the Animated Series, an original animation cell from New Adventures, but it's got Batman and Tim Drake Robin there.
So
Like in the room or just like in my whole house? Because
in your whole house. You don't have to grab it, then that's fine.
Oh, I was gonna grab well, it's upstairs, but I have the Absolute Batman #1 signed by Snyder and Dragotta as one of my favorite pieces of memorabilia.
That's sick.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, hold on. I changed my mind. My Kevin Conroy Batman is my favorite thing in my.
I never got to get anything signed by Kevin Conroy, and I'm so sad about it.
I met him when I was 12 years old, and that was the first celebrity I had ever met, because it was one of the first conventions I went to. And I was super starstruck because I was still a little kid, but every story you've heard about him being like the nicest person on the planet is 100% true. He kind of helped me through it because he could tell that I was like still a kid and still kind of nervous about it, but amazing guy. Really happy I got to meet him.
That's how I was with Jim Lee, except I was a grown adult when I was freaking out.
That's
The first time I met him, I waited in line for like 3 hours, and then I get up to his booth to get my comic signed, and the only thing I could utter to my favorite artist of all time was, "I like your art," and then I just grabbed it and walked away. And I regretted it for the next 3 years, and then I finally got to meet him again, and we actually had a conversation. So
That's a nice thing.
love Jim Lee.
Most people I've interacted with at conventions, creators, will usually have a conversation with you and are usually pretty chill about that stuff.
Yeah, he said thank you, but like I didn't try to drive the conversation much further than that because I was
Right.
so like in awe.
Yeah, I think that's how I would be if I met I haven't really met any. I haven't been to a Comic-Con or any cons in a very long time. I'm hoping to go to New York Comic-Con this year, but I went to a Comic-Con in like 2016, and I met the actor that played Bruce Wayne in Gotham. I was like into that show at the time. And I was like, who should I meet? And I read comics too then. Like I was tweaking, I guess. I was just like, yeah, that's who I want to meet.
I like his portrayal of Bruce in Gotham. I think that Gotham is a very strange show that has a lot of weird things about it, but I think his Bruce performance is pretty solid.
That's crazy that we're talking about Gotham before anything else with Batman. That's the first thing we're talking about.
First thing we're gonna talk about is like Batman, the TV show Gotham.
The one thing that you don't get to
Yeah.
see Batman in until the very end.
Until the very end, and the costume sucks.
It's the worst Batman suit ever. Maybe other than like the Titans one.
The Titans one sucks, but I'll cut it slack because it was never meant to be seen. Like, it was meant to just be like a shadow. Whereas the Gotham suit's like, here we go. It's Batman. I'm waiting for.
It's so crazy because they saw all the hate Smallville got after 10 seasons, and then just showing the last panel of the suit, and they were like, we're going to do that, but worse.
Yeah, literally. Like, and Smallville, like, I actually, like, kind of have a soft spot for Smallville.
Oh,
I love Smallville.
It's amazing.
Smallville's great.
Yeah. It's just the, like, waiting for the suit till the very end thing. It was just like, come on.
I started watching Smallville last year because it's a
Long show.
10 seasons, 22 episodes. And I'm quite enjoying Smallville. Quincy and I have talked about this. I was during my middle and high school years, obsessed with, like, the Arrowverse. So I have a high tolerance for, like, CW garbage.
I think everybody needs if you're a comic book fan, I think you need a point in your life where you were obsessed with the Arrowverse.
Percent.
Yeah.
I think
That's
certainly a gateway drug.
even the funny thing about that for me, at least in my experience, was like even people who like never touched a comic book in their life would come up to me and like, "Yo, did you see The Flash last night?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." Like, it was kind of like a weird thing.
It was that bridge
big.
between the comic fans and the superhero fans.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift. We have to talk.
Yeah.
So you spoke about Kevin Conroy before. I think a really good starting off point, like to discuss Batman and just talk Batman, is I think he's the best Batman.
Yeah.
I love the animated series, and like anytime I'm reading or watching something that's Batman, all of my favorite parts of it remind me of the animated series. Like that's definitely where I think it's the best piece of Batman media ever. I think it's like including comics and stuff. Like I really love the animated series. To start off this conversation, if you guys agree, disagree.
No, I agree.
It's an easy pick because a lot of people love it, but it is kind of like the definitive Batman take. I like Brave and the Bold. I like the 2004 Batman show. I like the movies. I like the Arkham series. But in terms of truly definitively capturing Batman and his world, it is the animated series. I also kind of include Justice League Unlimited, the rest of the DCAU in that. Kevin's portrayal of Batman is amazing. I always go back to Mask of the Phantasm, where I think his performance is so incredible there. Yeah.
I love Batman the
No,
animated. Oh, you go ahead.
No, you go
Oh,
ahead.
I was. I love Batman the animated series. I think what really kept my fascination for Batman when I was young was obviously that. But I loved the 2004 Batman animated series with like the really creative villains, and like the intro was so cool. It was like that era when you were watching like Ben 10 and Danny Phantom, and it was just like back to back to back amazing shows. And that's what really like kept me invested in superheroes to the point where, you know, I became such a big Batman fan.
I had the DVD.
That show is like a cool show.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that show has like swag to it. Like it has like a
It's got that early 2000s like vibe to it, that kind of a little bit edgier, you know. That show does have a lot of sauce, and cool is the right word. Like everything's kind of techie and blue, and yeah.
I think that's my favorite
Yeah.
voice actor for the Joker. Like I love Mark Hamill, I love Troy Baker, but I love the voice actor for the Joker.
Kevin Michael Richardson.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, he's like all over the place. Like he's very like neurotic, like kind of scary Joker. Feels a little bit like he's really good. Don't get me wrong. He's probably my favorite Joker, but he's a little bit more like Silver Agey Joker sometimes, like kind of a little more goofy maybe.
I feel like he could get like in like, you know, to like the dark like kind of vibe from Joker, especially in the video game. Like you kind of see that like that
True. Arkham series.
darker Joker like come out then, at least from what I see. Yeah.
I think Mark Hamill's best Joker is in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, where he's like, the one scene where he's talking, he finally finds out, like the flashback scene where he's like talking, like, I know you're Bruce Wayne. And he does like, the, you know, I forget what the line is, but it's like, it'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic that you're just a little boy crying for mommy and daddy. Mark Hamill is incredible in that. But to Cosmic's point, Kevin Michael Richardson is so great, and the scene that always sticks out about that Joker is the scene from Batman versus Dracula where you have that crazy version of Joker turned into a vampire, and he's like running like through the blood bank. I think that that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, no, that's a really good iteration of Batman. But honestly, I think it's the creepiest Joker moment from the comics, or one of the creepiest. It's in like Black Mirror when, I love this moment, when Dick Grayson is Batman and Joker and him have like an interaction. I think it's in like a basement. I forget under what context they meet. But Joker basically instantly sniffs out that it's not Bruce. He's like, "You're not my Batman." And like, oh, the way that I think that issue was drawn by Jock as well.
Yeah.
Like his art mixed with that, like how he's so like in sync with Batman that he could tell when somebody else is under the cowl. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. That's a great era of Batman comics. The like 2009 era of like Dick Grayson as Batman and Damian as Robin before they brought Bruce back. That is a really underrated era of Batman comics. I really like Dick's tenure as Batman.
I agree.
So you already know that I'm a Dick Grayson fan.
Yeah.
For more than a Bruce Wayne. I love him. You feel me? He raised him right, but Nightwing's where it's at. I'm not. Y'all know I'm a Nightwing fan, so
You guys think that Dick is more pure of heart than Bruce?
Yeah.
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 I can
think
agree
so,
with that.
yeah.
I mean,
I
I
like
think
the
he's.
idea.
Oh,
You go.
Oh,
You go.
I think he's like the reason I don't want him to be Batman anymore is strictly because I think while he has all the skills of Batman, he more embodies the personality and the morals and the outlook on life that Superman does. And I think that's why Nightwing is such an important title to him because he got it from Superman. I think that's what makes Dick so great, aside from just being Batman, and being his own character.
Dick is almost, and what Nightwing is kind of like the more refined version of Bruce's mission. Like he takes Bruce's mission and does combine it with like the elements of Superman, taking the name from the Kryptonian hero Nightwing, and is kind of the more refined. Dick is less held down by his like Dick still has his baggage, but he dealt with it in a much healthier way than Bruce did because of Bruce in many ways. So I like to think of Nightwing as the more like refined, ideal version of Bruce's mission.
I agree. I liked how y'all talked about that balance between Batman and Superman because I feel like we see that a lot from the name, but also too he's able to turn off that good cop, bad cop, right? Like he knows when to be brooding. He knows when to push buttons, right? But he also knows to be empathetic, be a leader, be a mentor. He knows like when to shift that on and off. But also too, even with like just, regarding even like masculinity too, like, and I talked about this in the video I'm about to post for another event I'm doing, but like how he's able to like process and work through his trauma, whereas like, and not letting that like hold him back from like achieving success, right? We see that issue with an inner turmoil with Bruce through different issues from whether it's within his mind and within who's the mask, Batman or Bruce Wayne. But I feel like with Nightwing, you have that balance obviously between the two characters. But also too, you have someone who's a great successor to Bruce. I've said this too, I feel like Dick is a good successor, is Batman's greatest successor, but Terry's his best replacement regarding the mantle of Batman. I feel like that because he doesn't want to be Batman. He doesn't want to because it does come with a lot of baggage. And you even see him too, obviously in Black Mirror where, Alfred's like, don't be Bruce. Be your own Batman. Lead your own way. And even in Young Justice too, where, he's sitting down with Black Canary and talking about like his trauma and like, I don't want to be this when I grow up. I want to be different. I want to improve. I want to, be able to, be healthy, within myself, within my mental health, within my trauma, right?
Yeah.
You see him, and I really love that y'all touched upon like those different elements. That's what I love about Dick too.
And that's why I agree. I don't think Dick should literally be Batman in terms of like wearing the cape and cowl, but like we all kind of agreed is Dick represents something better than that, kind of something more defined, I guess. Like we all kind of
Who he is and who he's become is important to Batman as well. Like all the Robins are. They were kind of what keep him grounded, that family. And I think that's what makes Dick such an important part of the Bat family.
And I think the thing is like, I think like the differences between like Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson, it's like when Bruce Wayne saw his parents die, it's almost like he didn't really have anybody besides Alfred teaching him. While Dick went through the same, I think, backstory where his parents died as well, right?
Yeah.
He kind of like saw like Bruce Wayne like kind of saw like Dick in him. So I guess Dick saw all the good parts of like being Batman as a little kid until later on growing up to be like a teenager, realizing like the bad parts of being Batman and realizing that if I become Batman, will I become like Bruce? And I think that's eventually how like he wants to become Nightwing and be different from Bruce. And I think what I like about Young Justice, I think season 2 and season 3 is where he becomes Nightwing. He leads his own team. But I think the end of season 2, I think Aqualad or someone was talking to him like, "You gonna lead the team again?" He's like, "No, I think I need a mental break and all that." He knows when to like, he knows his limits. But I think Bruce Wayne is like, he's so hard on his beliefs where Bruce will always keep pushing himself to the point where like he will like push others or like push himself to even when the mission is done. And I think those are the difference between those two, I would say.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Dick is a much more healthy individual than Bruce.
100%.
And I think like my favorite parts is like when Batman says like, "You are a better successor than me." And there's times where I think Superman or Batman or comic panels where like, "You will lead the next Justice League." I think like those parts are my favorite because it shows like Dick Grayson has an impact even on someone like Batman and Superman.
Yeah, definitely.
And just to expand to the further Bat family, I think that like every single member kind of represents a different piece of Bruce in a different way. Like we said, Nightwing represents the best part of his mission and his hope and his ability to comfort and all these things. And you have Tim, which is his brain, his detective skills. You have Jason, which is his passion, his anger, his drive for vengeance. Damian, which is literally his blood, his heritage, like his legacy, his family. And then that goes on to Cass and Steph, and they all have bits and pieces of him. And I think that's what makes it so compelling, is to see how he's influenced every single person he's brought into his mission, and yet he still continuously drives them away for some reason.
Yeah. For sure agree with that. I'm a massive Tim Drake fan. He was my Robin. He was the Robin I grew up with. I saw myself in. I love the whole, like, in Tim's origin, the lonely place of dying, where it's like Batman needs a Robin to kind of keep him on an even kilter after Jason died. And I love Bruce and Tim as a duo, because I feel like they, in many ways, have, because, like, Tim was Robin throughout a very large chunk of Batman's history. Like, Tim was Robin through Nightfall and No Man's Land and Fugitive and Hush and 1 Year Later and all the way up until, like, Final Crisis. Like, Tim was Robin through all of that. And so, especially when you read that kind of 90s through 2000s era of Batman, you really see their relationship develop. And so that's why Tim's always been my favorite. Jason, I like Jason Todd a lot. I know Jason Todd gets a lot of crap recently, I feel. I've seen Jason catch a lot of heat for, like, after Under the Red Hood, a lot of people didn't know what to do with them. But I think there are still good stories to tell, and Jason is still a really important part of Bruce. Damian is a character that I used to not like, but I really developed a liking for him.
Same. You got Robin.
Damian's great. When Damian was first introduced, I felt like you were meant to hate him, because in Damian's, like, second issue, he beats the fuck out of Tim Drake. Really, like, he kicks his ass. And you're kind of meant to be like, who the fuck is this little 8-year-old twerp who thinks he knows everything? But as you see Damian develop, both under Dick's tutelage as Batman, with Damian as his Robin, as well as, especially, I really enjoyed when they put Damian with John Kent, boy.
Super
And,
Sons,
like,
yeah.
Super Sons, the early Rebirth. I really enjoyed that era of Damian.
Really good Damian Wayne story that I read recently that really turned my opinion on him. Oh, I forgot the guy that wrote it, but it's called The Boy Wonder. It's so good. Each issue is him teaming up with a different Robin, and it's such a good classic representation of the Bat family, and the art in it is really good, and, like, it paints Damian not just, like, as a little shit, but as somebody who has his own, like, I really don't like that depiction of Damian where he's kind of just, like, annoying, arrogant, has no... I really like when I see his fears, because there's no character in the Bat family that does not experience fear to some level. And I think, like, if sometimes Damian can be a little like, I just don't care.
I know it all. Yeah.
I like when he's like the son. I think Peter J. Tomasi's New 52 Batman and Robin run, I think, did it the best.
Yes. That's
Because
another
It's so good.
Yeah, it's
underrated
amazing.
run.
Yeah, it's
like,
because
no
it
one
started
really-
out with Damian with that being just that little, like you said, he's just a little turd, bro. He won't, like, and he just, I think the most emotional point was when he killed, what's his name, Nobody, at the end of the
Yes.
issue. And he's kind of like, I did it for you, father. And that was that turning point of the series when he finally starts to develop. And it's the stuff that we didn't really get a whole lot of in Grant Morrison's run. Tomasi started, and I think Joshua Williamson, like, really peaked it with his Robin run. And that's where we saw that turning point for Damian.
People don't
100%.
talk about the Tomasi New 52 Batman and Robin.
One of the best New 52 runs.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I
100%.
agree. I feel like Scott Snyder's run and how much, like, Court of Owls and stuff gets talked about kind of overshadowed some of that, but that run is very good.
I love the Scott Snyder's run. I really do love it, especially the first half of it is some of the best Batman stuff ever. But I don't think people acknowledge or realize how much that run, I don't want to say fell off, because I still do, like, enjoy it, but how much it changed in the second half. And, like,
Jim Gordon in a Batman robot suit.
yeah, like, it gets, like,
It gets
a
stale.
little...
Like, it's just not entertaining
Yeah.
anymore. Batman and Robin stays consistent all the way through.
Yeah.
It has my favorite issue of all time, and it is Batman and Robin issue 18. It's the silent issue after
Oh
Damian
my
dies.
god.
It's one of the most
Dude.
emotional issues. Every time I read it, there's no words. It's all Patrick Gleason's art. And Bruce just lost Damian. He goes out on the town and just lets out his anger. And one of my favorite panels is just when Commissioner Gordon gets a call to go up to the roof, and he goes up to the bat signal, and it's just littered with criminals that Batman took his anger out on. It's
Love
so
that
good.
issue.
And then he's just like washing all the blood off of him in the shower, and it's a great issue.
Yeah, that is such a good run. I think it just got collected again recently. Big, I don't know if it's one of DC's epic collections, but if you guys have not read that, read it. It's extremely good. It's very good. Have you read?
It rings a bell. I mean, for me, we're talking about Batman comics, and I think I've discussed this with some of you guys. I like the older. I'm an old head when it comes to certain things. I mean, definitely, something I definitely know.
Biggest Michael Keaton Batman shooter I've ever met
Oh,
in Big
God.
26.
Nothing's wrong with that. Hey,
No,
hey,
look,
hey.
Bro, this man, we're talking to Steve Englehart, and this man starts talking about Batman killing people to Steve Englehart. He's like, in the golden age,
Bro.
the Batman would kill people, right? He's trying to get Englehart to agree with him.
I mean, hey, he did. He was like, hey, like, I liked him. He was like, I liked his Batman. And I was like, I understand that, like, with Keaton, yes, he didn't hold his punch, he didn't hold back. Yeah, word. And I'm for that. But Batman, they're having Batman who, I understand Batman who kill is pretty much punishing their cape. I get it. But there are some times where other Batman, like, you're like, okay, like, that guy probably didn't survive that. Or that guy's probably, like, would. And like I said, in the comics, I understand it got retconned in the Golden Age. I get it. But hey, like, that was kind of like, based on at least 89 was like that film noir type
it
deal.
was,
Then you have
89 was,
Richard-
and it was also, like, I'm going to make a statement that's kind of a hot take, and maybe you could argue what I'm about to say is slightly uneducated, but you have to remember when comic characters in the 40s like first came out, like Batman, they weren't as defined in terms of what their actual character were. They were more pulp fun magazines to sell for kids for 5 cents.
Yeah.
Batman was like a knockoff of the Shadow and other characters like that. So a lot of the characteristics that we define as Batman and, the no killing, all of these different things didn't happen until writers put them in later and they became more part of their character. So Batman did kill people in the 40s, but that's also because the Shadow killed, and that's because Dick Tracy killed. Now,
I feel like it's weird that people bring up the 10 years that he killed, but don't bring up the 90 that he hasn't since.
That he hasn't.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like
I
one
know.
definitely outweighs the other.
The other.
In terms of which one's more key to the character.
The other thing, I will say this for Quincy. I rewatch Batman Returns every Christmas. It's a weird movie, but I do really like it.
I like Batman Returns better than 89.
I like
Oh, that's Batman Returns is atrocious. Atrocious.
Oh,
No,
it's
no,
so
no,
bad.
no.
Oh
Here's
my
the thing.
gosh.
no.
The Penguin, Danny DeVito's Penguin.
Here's the thing.
Bro, when he bites the dude's nose off,
No.
that is ingrained
Oh,
in my
I love
brain.
the Max Shrek character. That was really entertaining. That whole movie was trash.
Oh
I
my
respect
God.
it as a piece of Tim Burton's filmography. Is Burton just going all out on like, I'm doing gothic weird shit, and I respect it as that. Is it my ideal
Yeah,
character?
it's not a good Batman movie.
Is it my
It's like
is it my ideal characterization for Batman? No, not even close. But
No, yeah.
I respect it as a part of the character's that's another thing that I've kind of, as I've gotten older, because I had a phase where I like really didn't like the Keaton movies, and as I've gotten older, I've kind of learned to appreciate everything as just a part of the character's history. Not that I don't still dislike stuff. I'm not suddenly going to turn around and be like, everything's good. No, some shit sucks. But as I've gotten older, look, there's going to be another Batman movie made. If I don't like this one, the next one, I have the next one. And I already have so much Batman media that I love and cherish that I can appreciate. I appreciate the Joel Schumacher Batman movies for what they are. Like,
100.
I will legitimately go out on a limb and defend Batman Forever as like a pretty good movie.
Yes.
Like,
Batman Forever's the best of the pre-Nolan movies. I think it's better than 1989, better
Yes.
than Batman and Robin. It's the best one.
Yes.
Val Kilmer,
I agree.
on top.
100% agree. I love how far out that movie goes in terms of aesthetics, of just being like, fuck it, let's build these elaborate sets and let's have neon everywhere. I appreciate the filmmaking in that. And even Batman and Robin has a lot of flaws, but we're never going to see another comic book movie like that, and I somewhat appreciate it for that.
It's entertaining.
Yeah,
Like,
fair
if
point,
you
yeah.
put it on
I would-
TV, I'm not gonna be mad.
I'll take 12 Batman and Robins over another, like, Ant-Man Quantumania or something like that.
I'm a sucker for Ant-Man. I love Ant-Man so much.
I
Just
see
all
the
of it.
Ant-Man helmet back there. But you know what I mean, though? Like,
Yeah.
I'll take something that, like, is bad, but still has a lot of heart put into it than something that feels made by, like, a boardroom.
That's fair. And I was a little rough on Batman Returns. I have it at like a 6. It's not like it's the worst movie ever made. I like Keaton's Batman. I like 1989 a lot. I just specifically don't like the villains in the movie, and it doesn't keep me
fair.
entertained for very long.
Look,
It's definitely a
Yeah.
weird version of Penguin. It's definitely nothing like what Penguin is to me, and
It's just a
I'm
creepy.
kind of a little bit upset about what it did to Penguin, so I kind of understand where you're coming from. Where like, I don't really love some of the stuff with Penguin where they kind of make him like too mutated. Like, I think there's a fine line they need to walk with it. Like Arkham Penguin is really good, like design. Like he's,
yeah.
you know, he's very short and he's kind of hunched over, but he doesn't have like flippers for hands.
Well,
He doesn't have like sharp teeth or anything.
Even in, like, the early episodes, like the first run of Batman the Animated Series, because Batman Returns had just come out, Penguin has, like, the flipper hands, and he's got the long hair like Danny DeVito. Which I will say, that happens so often. Like, a comic book adaptation will come out, and then, like, everything around it kind of changes to fit that mold in a way. There have been times where this has worked, there have been times where this hasn't worked.
No, I definitely agree, like, with what y'all are saying, like, about the different tones, like, at least for 89, and I'll definitely, like, try to clear some stuff up. Like, that's more of a film noir, and then, like, I feel like the Returns is more of, like, German expressionist, so kind of, like, I look at Penguin as, like, Nosferatu kind of thing, like, how he's kind of, like, this freak of nature. But, okay, so for me, when looking at, like, 89 or not, and other than that, I'm not, like, a Keaton stan. Like, I love Christian Bale. And
Get
then
into
also,
that.
I feel like those two are my favorite. Like, I've even said this, like, to Rob too. I will admit I maybe glazed Keaton a little bit too much, and rightfully so. But like, I like Christian Bale the same amount. But I feel like when I look at the old Batman comics, like, you know, stuff from like Brayfogle, Grant, Starlin, or like
Brayfogle and Grant is
Dennis
a great
O'Neill.
pair.
Like, I see like a lot of that when I look at Keaton's Batman, like little bits and pieces from those adaptations and the stories that I love from back in the day in Keaton. So I guess for me, it's just kind of like surreal because it's like, oh my gosh, like this element of the character is from this run, or like from Strange Apparitions with Englehart, and you know, from different stories like Batman Prey and Shaman, and you know, I just see a lot of Keaton, at least within that movie, embodied within those Batman stories from like the 80s, and you know, and that's why I feel like I resonate with Keaton that much, because I love the aspect of them making Batman like kind of like a detective and kind of giving that film noir appeal, but also too that like they give him, as well as like, you know, that appeal that like he's like that duality, you know, that, you know, Bruce Wayne, Batman, which is the mask. And then I will also say too, you were saying Batman Forever, right? So I will say, right, but like the scene, one of my favorite, and I think arguably this may be a hot take, my favorite scene in the movie, it got deleted, and I think Rob knows what I'm about to say.
Giant Bat and
I
Batman
love it.
Forever. Yeah.
I feel like that is one of the greatest Batmans in movies. One of them, I'll say. But I really like that, and what the duality it shows for the character, kind of like, I feel like it piggyback off of Tim Burton's idea of like, you know, who is Batman? Who is he really? Is it Bruce Wayne? Is it Batman? Who's the mask? Which one is the facade? Which one is the real him, right? And then you kind of see just him standing there, and I like it. Like, no words. He's just standing there. He comes out. Alfred's like, he's like, no, I'm Batman. Like, I'm Batman. That's who I am. And like, he's like, yeah, let's go out and do this. Let's go take Two-Face and Riddler down. And like, I feel like that scene, like, I love it. I love it.
Are we gonna introduce the next guest?
I'm gonna say something that's might be a little bit controversial.
If you're about to slander the Nolan trilogy, I swear to God.
Oh, I think I'm gonna say. Oh, shoot. I'm not gonna slander it. I'm not gonna slander it.
I
I'm
got-
not gonna slander.
Hell right over there.
I will say my controversial take in the Nolan trilogy is that I think Batman Begins is better than The Dark Knight.
That's a
What I
fact.
was gonna say. Do you agree with that?
I am very attached to those three movies. And I think there are criticisms you can make towards them as adaptations, I think you also have to take into account a little bit the time they came out in and where Batman was and how much it did for the character afterwards. That was my Batman growing up. Those are the movies I rewatched the most. I have a very fond memory of going to the midnight showing of Dark Knight Rises when that came out.
Sorry, but that movie's garbage.
People crap.
I
I
love
know.
The Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight
I
Rises.
love it.
No.
Oh wait,
No.
wait, seriously?
I love it. I like it more than I think Batman Begins is the worst one of the trilogy. I think it's
So-
incredibly mid.
So okay,
Oh.
that's what it was. Because I remember.
I thought
So
it
Cosmic,
too.
I remember your Batman hot takes video. and I
Oh
remember
yeah, that
you
one
said
got,
like,
was all over Twitter, all over it.
yeah, I remember you said Batman Begins was mid. This fucking guy, but you saying you like Dark Knight Rises
I do.
redeems yourself.
I understand all the flaws, but I just have so much fun watching that movie.
The part where Bruce climbs out of the pit is so hype.
Oh, good. Yes, and Bane. I mean, his like obviously it's not comic accurate Bane, but he's one of the most quotable villains in any movie.
Villains.
Ever. Like it's
I'm
just
surprised,
insanely
though-
Good.
Jason Gordon-Levitt is Robin. I don't know about you guys, but that was
I
that was awful for me.
Fair.
I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
That's
You should go
fucking
by your
Robin?
real name, Robin.
No, that
Robin. I will say though, I'm surprised because I feel like a lot of comic book fans like Begins more because Begins feels more like the way Gotham looks, and it feels
Yeah.
more in tune with like kind of classic Batman in terms of the visuals of Gotham and how much it takes from like year one. Like the scene where he grabs the bat transponder off of his boot and like calls all the bats to attack the cops. Like that's
So good.
straight out of Batman year one. I'm sorry, I completely cut you off because you started to say something, and I was like, so.
My Batman hot take is that I think the best live action movie is The Batman.
Correct.
That's not a crazy hot take. These are not hot takes. In this day and age, people agree
People
with what I'm
love
saying.
the Batman. I love the
Yeah.
Bat. I got Pattinson right up there. I got Pattinson right over there.
I think Bale is a mid Batman. I think he's a great Bruce Wayne.
I
Bruce
agree.
Wayne. I think he's a mid Batman.
The voice. I just can't do that.
I think
it's
the
just,
voice.
It's just hello, Batman. Like,
So, this is a me thing. I've seen those movies so many times that I'm just used to the voice. Like, it doesn't stick out to me because that's just how it's always sounded, and I can't imagine those lines any differently. I totally get why people don't vibe with the voice. So, like, I understand it. Bale's Batman, I will always have a big heart for. Bruce Wayne and Batman, because I think that trilogy is a Bruce Wayne story through and through for me. Like, all three of those movies are very Bruce-centric. Begins as his origin. Dark Knight is his kind of challenge, his morals being pushed to the limit. Like, the scene in Dark Knight where he's, like, sitting at, like, after Rachel dies, and he's like, did I bring this on her? I was meant to inspire good, not madness. And then Dark Knight Rises is Bruce coming back and all of that. I definitely understand people's criticisms of Bale. I think there's a lot of stuff I do still really enjoy about his performance.
Yeah, no, I love the movies. They're beautifully written. The directing's great. The cinematography's great. The villains, I think, really carry those movies to the next level.
Yes.
Because every single one of them has phenomenal villains. If we don't count Talia in the third one.
Work is done.
yeah, yeah.
But it's the same way I feel about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. I think they're very well-made movies. I think the villains are perfect. I think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's all right. I think he's all right. I think his Peter Parker's better than his Spider-Man, just like Bale. I think his Bruce is better than
Bruce
his
is
Batman.
better.
I think the problem is I think that Christian Bale, his version of Batman, like in his head was Bruce Wayne. This might not make sense, but you guys, I feel like will get it. Is like Bruce Wayne in a Batman suit rather than Batman being like a fully like
Different character.
I mean, they tried to touch upon that. There was a scene where it kind of resembled, again, going back to Keaton, Batman Returns, when Selina and Bruce were in the ballroom. I think this was in Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. And they were dancing. He's like, and she's like, "Who are you supposed to be?"
pretending to
And
be?
he's like,
Bruce
yeah.
Wayne,
And
eccentric
he's like, Bruce
billionaire.
Wayne. Yep, exactly. And like, it somewhat parallels that because like obviously like both of them they come like with just themselves in a suit, right? And like kind of like I like how like it touched upon that duality aspect, but I get what you're saying, and sometimes like how it could feel like that it's like kind of contrary, but I do feel like it does represent like as like you were saying, Rob, like it does represent like a journey of just Bruce, like him kind of like
Yeah.
come into his own, whatever. Then he obviously goes
Found
through it
a
like
Joker, and then has to, get his back broken, all that stuff.
I feel like. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, I have a long tangent. You can go ahead. Go. I was just about to.
I definitely get the whole Bruce Wayne in a Batsuit thing. Like, again, I don't want to repeat what I said. It just kind of, to me, it is a Bruce Wayne journey of, and kind of, okay. I think the difference is, and I support this as a difference, with Batman Begins, you have Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne kind of finds himself in Batman, like Batman is the answer to his trauma. Whereas in The Batman, Batman is the answer to his trauma, but in The Batman, we see Bruce, he's already been Batman for 2 years, and he still hasn't truly discovered himself and truly figured out who he is. Whereas in Batman Begins, once he leaves the League of Shadows, is like, I'm no executioner, and we have that, he comes back to Gotham. He's kind of cleared his mind, cleared his lost self through Batman. Like, once he becomes Batman in Batman Begins, he is, like, he knows what he's doing, he knows what his mission is. Whereas in Matt Reeves' Batman, it's more, he's being Batman and he's fighting crime, but he doesn't truly know who he is or why he's doing what he's doing, in a way. Kind of also weirdly parallels The Amazing Spider-Man 1 versus Spider-Man 1. How in TASM 1, Peter becomes Spider-Man out of revenge and anger and vengeance, because when Peter becomes Spider-Man in TASM 1, he wants to fucking murder the guy who killed Uncle Ben. Like, he starts going after everyone who's got a star tattoo. And then in that movie, Peter finds himself in that moment on the bridge where he's like, this is what I want, this is who I am, this is who Spider-Man is supposed to be. Similarly to how Matt Reeves' Batman finds himself later, once he's already become Batman. That was a whole lot of nothing.
No, we keep coming back to the, like, which one's the mask, Bruce or Batman. It keeps getting brought up, and I want to say I feel like that's something that the movies haven't, like, done right yet, because I feel like any piece of media that says one or the other is the mask fundamentally misunderstands Batman. Because I don't think Bruce doesn't work without Batman, and Batman doesn't work without Bruce.
They're both the mask.
They work together, and they're both each other, because Batman's mission is driven by Bruce Wayne's grief. And Bruce Wayne is driven by this need to be Batman. And it's this whole circle, and neither one works without the other. And I think all the movies haven't really explored that yet. I'm excited to see if Matt Reeves does, because we started with a younger Batman that, like you said, doesn't exactly know who he is. So he has that time to figure out who he wants to be and see the in-syncness of Batman and Bruce Wayne. And that's with the Bale trilogy. At the end, it was him choosing Bruce. And I feel like that was another misunderstanding of Batman always has to be Batman, but he also always has to be Bruce.
I don't understand the ending of Dark Knight Rises. Can you guys please explain it to me? Because, like, I've watched that movie so many times. Does Alfred actually see him?
I always said that he saw him. I don't believe that it's like a dream or like the end of Inception, another great movie. Nolan, we're both kind of like, yeah, we pretty much say that, like, because they do that thing of like the bat plane hovercraft. The Bat is what it was called in the movie. Like, they make the thing of like Lucius Fox is like, wait, the autopilot was fixed. And they do enough to hint about it to be like, Bruce could have escaped. Bruce probably, I like to imagine that he like dropped the bomb in the water or something, but I believe that Alfred truly saw him there. It's also interesting to me how the ending of Dark Knight Rises and the ending of Arkham Knight kind of are the inverse of each other. Because the ending of Batman Arkham Knight, the game, the way most people interpret that is that, that like demon fear toxin Batman that you see at the end?
Yeah, with the recreation kind of a Bruce Wayne's origin.
Yeah. The way I see people interpret that is mostly as like Bruce, after getting his identity exposed, he basically was like, well, there's no need for me to be Bruce Wayne anymore, and just fully devoted his life to being Batman. So in Nolan, you have him giving up Batman to be Bruce, and then in Arkham, you have him giving up Bruce to be Batman.
That's interesting. A lot of people, including me, I've always thought about the ending of Arkham Knight as he like kills himself and like somebody else is taking up the role of Batman or like using the fear toxin. But I actually like that interpretation more, where he's killing Bruce Wayne by blowing up the mansion.
Yeah.
I like the concept of Future's End and Batman Beyond. Bruce only stops when his body physically can't do it anymore. Yeah, like I said before, he can't quit one or the other because they exist together. So he just goes until he physically can't.
So to what you said, Cosmic, I actually do like 100% agree, because the conversation about is Bruce Wayne the Mask or is Batman the Mask is much more nuanced and complex than I feel like people make it out to be. I feel like people often give the platitude of like Bruce Wayne is the Mask, and or the whole Bruce Wayne is the Mask thing never sat right with me, because Bruce, that's kind of a lot of his humanity, like Bruce giving to charity and stuff like that, and the fact that his father was a doctor and he kind of had that a little bit instilled in him. So I don't like the idea that Batman is the only thing that matters and Bruce doesn't matter. Like Bruce Wayne Fugitive kind of explores that a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't
Because
love that.
Batman is
I
literally
don't
Bruce's
either.
grief.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
you can't have it.
Bruce Wayne Fugitive is a comic where I really like the ending, which is the last panel where he says, "I'm Bruce Wayne, I always have been." The problem with Bruce Wayne Fugitive is the build up to that is like 12 issues of Bruce Wayne being a douchebag to everybody, and it gets a little annoying after a while.
Did Greg Rucka write that one?
It was a lot of
It
people.
was-
I think it was Brubaker.
Brubaker,
No,
yeah.
Brubaker. I think there was a little bit of Chuck Dixon in there.
Chuck Dixon in there.
And a few other people. I'm sure Devin Grayson's in there somewhere.
Yeah, that was Devin Grayson era.
Yeah. That was coming off in No Man's Land, right?
That
Yeah,
was-
You don't
correct,
wanna
No
know.
Man's Land. I haven't read Fugitive
We'll
yet. I've read No Man's Land. I have the Omni for Fugitive. I just haven't cracked it open yet.
No Man's Land I really like.
did too.
I do
No
like
Man's
How
Land
did,
is
like,
the
the
best.
lead-
I think it's the best Batman event in the comics that they've done.
stuff that I can agree with that. I like No Man's.
I think it's better than Nightfall, personally.
I'm just kidding. Sorry. Go ahead.
Bro, don't.
Go ahead.
Dude, I hate that fucking panel where Selena's like, "Yeah, I'm totally okay with stealing from rich people. They fucking suck." And Bruce is like, "But my parents were rich." Like, shut up, dog. Like, you're not part of the revolution. Like,
I don't blame Chip Zdarsky. I blame editorial. I don't know how, but I blame editorial.
I like the first part of the Zdarsky stuff. I think the part, like the stuff with him and Tim, is like pretty good. Oh, No Man's Land. I just posted like on Twitter like last night. You guys have finished No Man's Land, right?
Yeah, I have.
The part where after Joker kills Sarah Essen and Jim Gordon is about to shoot Joker in the head, and Bruce is like, "I'm not gonna stop you," and Gordon pops him in the knee. I really love that part.
Oh,
Such a
that was No Man's Land, right?
That was No Man, like the very end.
Because he had like a room full of babies, right? And then it was
Yeah,
just like,
Joker killed Gordon's wife, Sarah Essen, and then left her dead body in a truck full of babies.
that was it. Yeah.
And this was also after Joker had paralyzed Barbara. And this was like right as like Gotham was gonna get reunited to the rest, like back into the rest of the world. And Gordon has Joker gun to his head, and Bruce is like, "We've all lost so much. If you want to do it, okay." Like,
It's interesting because like the Batman Joker predicament kind of exists as like a comic book trolley problem where it's like, does he break his rule and kill the Joker? Because the Joker leaving him alive is going to lead to like a lot of people dying. Do you guys think that Batman should kill the Joker? Do you think he'd be?
I like the thing where they're like, if I kill a murderer, there's still the same amount of murderers in the world. You know, it's that same concept.
yeah. With that, it kind of ties into the idea of like, if I can justify this one time, what's to stop me from finding a way to justify it another time?
Yeah, he's like then
Exactly.
it's two-faced.
Then
Like,
it's-
Like Val
Yeah.
Kilmer
Because
has
you got to think
said,
like
you know,
20 of his villains are serial killers, and then you go over to Metropolis, and you got killers over there. Go Wonder Woman's villains are all killers. What stops Batman from killing them all? You know what I'm saying? There's just you have no story, you have no plot, you have no motivations. It's just a rip-off Punisher with a
Beyond
Batman
that,
costume.
beyond that though, because I do think Bruce is controlled enough to hypothetically, Bruce is such a like methodical and controlled person. Possibly there's a world where he could like only kill the Joker, but moreover than that, I like the idea that a lot of Batman villains are reflections of Bruce, and I like the idea of Bruce believing in redemption. I think that
Agree.
like that
That
fully
people can
works, and
change.
like Bruce believes in, like, Harvey Dent was his friend. Freeze only does this to save his wife. Like, I like an empathetic Bruce Wayne who's willing to be like, you can change, we can help you. And that's, I think, going back to what we initially started with, that's, I think, why people always come back to Batman the Animated Series, because it showed that.
So many episodes,
So many
like
times.
rehabilitation, yeah.
I would even argue Batman the Animated Series is a formulaic show because it kind of almost, in every instance, like Riddler, Mr. Freeze, Clayface are all like, was this person getting shitty circumstances because of like a corporation or something like that. And it's why it's still seen as so definitive, because it puts that aspect of Batman on display alongside the fear and the action and all the fun stuff.
I agree. I think that's what made Paul Dini's Detective Comics run so
Such an
enjoyable.
underrated run.
Oh my god.
It was
it's so
episodic.
fun.
It was amazing. Sorry, I cut someone off.
No,
yeah,
you're good.
when I think about Batman's no kill rule, and I think the spot where it gets like the most interesting to me personally is like during the Red Hood stuff. Like, you know, obviously like the Jason Todd like Robin it's like, I think where he's pushed, like, I want to say to his maximum, and he still chooses to follow his no kill rule. But I think the fact that Jason Todd comes back and holds a grudge is like, I think just because of that, I think it just makes it way more interesting. It's just like, it's way more interesting to read than just like, okay, he's always sticking to the no kill rule. I get that. But like, we need to see some like real consequences for him for choosing that action kind of thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
And after Jason died, he wanted to kill I think it was Superman, right? That stopped him from.
Yeah,
Superman stopped him. Also, the fact that Joker was the ambassador to Iran in
Yeah.
that story, which comics are weird.
Random 80s comic moment.
Yeah, I saw someone post that like yesterday, and I was like, "Fuck."
A little too
And-
topical.
Yeah,
Like the laughing fish stuff too. Like
Yeah.
we were asking Englehart, we were like, dude, how did you come up with that? And he was just kind of like, I thought it was like funny.
I mean, it's kind of like the vibe with like this whole Smilex thing, right? With like in '89, like
Yeah.
how it's like kind of like it was just like that's just there.
Like they were just cooking stuff up. I have to use the bathroom.
No worries.
So-
Off of what
so we're
Chris
gonna-
was saying about Under the Red Hood, I think that's my favorite Batman comic of all time. Because for that exact reason, because it is an interesting way to question Batman's whole morality, because it's coming from his son. You know, Jason's whole premise in that is, you know, I get you have this one rule, but I just want you to love me enough to break it for me.
No,
you know?
literally.
And
It
that's
makes
such a
it so
heartbreaking
much-
thing to hear, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, no.
So I have a question then. Do you prefer the Under the Red Hood comic or do you prefer the movie?
Comic
Really?
for me.
Yeah. I think the movie is just the comic shrunk down a little bit. I think it's a perfect
Yeah.
It's
representation.
very one.
It's kind of
very
like asking
close.
me if I like Dune the movies or Dune the
Dune-
book.
Dune the
Like
book.
I
Fair.
like the Dune the book way more just because it's more in depth. You know?
It's the source
think-
material.
It's the source material. It's like the original way the story.
And then
was
they like
told.
one for one it to a movie, you know?
Yeah,
No, exactly.
that's fair.
And a certain
I will say though, I think the Under the Red Hood movie does a great job of streamlining and kind of tightening it up. Like it cuts out Bloodhaven getting nuked, and I think like it kind of makes it a little bit tighter and a little neater. And plus, you get that great performance in the end. But that's fair. I like the comic too. I think they're both very great, very well told stories. Same. It's the same story told to like minorly different ways.
I think there's certain things when you go to comic books to movies that like you can't really illustrate like I guess like the artist's like art style compared to the movies. And my favorite example of it was Alan Moore's The Killing Joke, because I read it and also watched the movie. I'm like, there was certain like tricks and art styles that like was not in the movie because they can't replicate like Alan Moore's like art style. So of course I think Alan Moore like the movie I think it's like good, but I do believe the comic makes it like way better. I would say for like the themes and the morals, and especially the ending. I would say
I'm not gonna
when you try
lie.
to do comic book to movies.
I'm not gonna lie. I think the Killing Joke movie is atrocious.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Also,
Big
not
sucks,
the biggest
bro.
fan of the book either. I really dislike, to put it like bluntly, I dislike that book's use of like rape. And it's very appropriate.
It created the term fridging. Or well, actually, Guy Gardner,
Kyle
Kyle
Rayner.
Rayner created the term fridging, but retroactively, Barbara Gordon kind of gets fridged in it.
I agree because the Killing Joke, it's one of those things where it's like you had this really interesting premise of, like one bad day and that's what created the Joker, but the over the top shock factor of it is just, you could have told that exact same story and got to that exact same ending without doing that to those characters.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's shock factor. It's to be like, oh my God, what did the Joker just do?
I mean, yeah, Alan Moore, all of his stories are like super edgy for like no reason, but like V for Vendetta, Watchmen, yeah, exactly. Like
Which
they're super
Watchmen-
morbid, and that's his style. I'm not saying like
I do
I
think
support
Watchmen
it
is
either
still-
way. I think that's the way he wanted to tell the story. I think it is problematic. Don't get me wrong, but if he tried to represent like someone's worst day possible, I feel like something horrific has to go in there. I'm not saying it has to be that. It just has to be something like.
And I feel like you could have
to
done the
that
exact same thing,
level.
just taking the pictures. I don't think he should have not shot Barbara. Like that was
Yeah,
fine to be
yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
It's just you could have just like
The
you didn't have to
picture,
do
yeah.
the pictures.
Yeah,
He could have
for
just taken
sure.
the pictures after he shot her and then showed those to Gordon. Like that would have done the exact same thing. Like you didn't have to add like you said the sexual assault into it. That was
Yeah.
just for shock factor.
I also think that like Joker's not the type of person to like care about sex like that. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
Like
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Alan
I mean,
Moore's an
he-
interesting creator to talk about because
He's an interesting guy because Watchmen is one of, if not my favorite comic book of all time. I think it's brilliant, and I think he really nails stuff. Overall, I like him. I don't think he's like a Frank Miller type
Don't get me started.
creator.
With
Where
Frank Miller.
it's like,
Yeah.
Frank Miller. Oh my God!
Cra-
Wait, Rob. you just like Frank Miller too?
yeah,
God.
I will say
yeah, we all
Oh,
dislike.
I-
him.
oh my
Before
God!
we
I found my
started-
people.
Before we started, Quincy was like, "Oh, I'm thinking of my hot take," and he's like, "I'm thinking of saying that Frank Miller should
Okay.
never touch Batman." I'm
Wait,
like, "Dude,
okay.
everybody's gonna agree with that."
So the reason why I say that, right? So actually, this is funny. In Bray's film noir class,
Yeah.
Rob, right? So he
yeah,
was talking
dude,
about-
Mike Hammer. Yeah, I remember that.
So we were talking about that, and people like some people were like, I guess Frank Miller, like some people were like yeah, when they were talking about Sin City and all that, and like I'm like, so that's what I'm like, I gotta feel the temperature of the room sometimes.
He
I
does-
will admit,
Bray and I
I
talked
would be-
about it.
yeah, like I will be remiss. I love Daredevil as a character, and I will be remiss to say that like he didn't help with the character of Daredevil. I will be remiss. Like old Frank Miller, he's decent. New one, overall, I really don't like, other than like his Daredevil stuff or whatnot, I really don't like care for him. 'Cause I feel like sometimes he misrepresents characters, especially like All-Star, like
So
All-Star
I
Batman.
want to talk about Daredevil. I think Frank Miller's stuff is still pretty solid.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would also. I remember this was in your Batman hot take video. You don't like Batman Year One?
I don't
Cosmic?
dislike it. I just think it's very slow, and I think it's more of a Jim Gordon story. And I think while it is iconic and it did amazing things for Batman as a character, and I respect Frank Miller for what he did for the character, I think 0 Year is a much better
0 Year is a
Year
lot
One
of fun.
story.
Yeah,
I love
like-
0
I
Year.
think Year One is still an important book, and like if anyone asked me like for Batman recommend, I would still probably say like you should probably read.
Every
Year
Batman
One.
fan should read Year One.
Read Year
Just like every Batman fan should read Dark Knight Returns. That doesn't
Dark
mean I
Knight
like
Returns.
Dark Knight Returns.
I never really liked that. I will say, look,
Yeah.
when Batman beats up the mutant leader and says this isn't a mud hole, it's an operating table, and I'm the surgeon. It's pretty fucking badass. And like when he rides a horse through the streets of Gotham, it's pretty fucking cool. But I don't like a lot of that book. It makes Superman the biggest bitch of all time. It makes Superman a Ronald Reagan fanboy. It's not how I see Batman, Dark Knight Returns. I would also never recommend it as someone's first Batman comic. I mean, people do.
Heck no.
And they're like,
Yeah.
like Year One, I can see someone recommending that as their first Batman book. Dark Knight Returns, no.
I just
No,
recommend
you'll miss
All-Star
one with
Batman and
Batman.
Robin.
Also,
You
Batman.
haven't,
I said I just
or you would
recommend
recommend it? Oh,
Yeah, I
God,
just
the,
recommend All-Star Batman and Robin. That way you can get the worst one out the way, and then every Batman book after that will seem like
better.
the best thing you've ever read.
That is The
Okay.
Room, like the movie The Room of comic books. Like
Here's-
it's so bad that I like.
Here's
I
a
low-key,
hot
like
take.
had fun reading it.
All-Star Batman and Robin, if you read it exclusively as a parody, if you read it through the lens of this is a parody, this is a fucking insane old man who kidnaps a child and makes him eat rats, if you read it as like dark humor, it's a little bit, you can kind of get some fun out of it. I don't think it's good. Ever touch it ever again. I don't own it. I don't want to own it. If you read it as a shitty parody of Batman, you can squeeze a little bit of fun out of it.
I just don't
Which
understand how
is funny.
Jim Lee was reading that script and making that beautiful art and then going, this is gas. This is so good.
You mentioned Jim Lee. How do you feel about Batman Hush?
Love Hush. Everyone hates Hush. Yeah, it's predictable, but I love
It is predictable. It's predictable.
Thomas Elliott, it's such a cool character, tying Jason in with Clayface, and then Heart of Hush that Paul Dini did
Heart of
after.
Hush is so good.
Yeah,
Heart of
yeah,
Hush
yeah,
is
yeah.
Heart of Hush
good.
is so good.
Art of
And
Hush
it
is
makes
better
Hush
than
1
Hush.
even better because of it.
Yes.
And then we have Hush 2, which makes no sense because we've already had
Hush
Hush 2 and 3. So
Yeah.
that's just another example of Jim Lee, I guess, just drawing without reading the script because that's atrocious too. I don't know why he signed on for that one.
Bro is like the CEO of DC right now. He doesn't have to be drawing these books. The thing
Yeah,
is,
I
the
don't know
art
about-
is still good because
Oh, it's
Jim Lee's
amazing.
Jim Lee's like that. The thing that I saw, the DC, since they've been doing like the DC Marvel crossovers, Jim Lee drawing Spider-Man is a like thing I never knew I needed.
The way he
Like-
draws his fingers, I love it.
Yeah.
They're kind of like spider. I don't know how to explain it. They're weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great artist. My thing with Hush, I think like it has a really good core story. Like I really like Hush as a character. I really like him being tied to Batman's past. I think that book just feels like a little bit too bloated. And like it's just like they were kind of going for the whole like let's run Batman through the gauntlet. Let's have him face every
Okay,
villain.
showcase all the villains, showcase Robin and Nightwing.
Have him fight
I
Superman.
get it,
Yeah,
because-
it's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Jim Lee was a big like him drawing Batman at the time was a huge deal. And that was his first time drawing Batman, I'm pretty sure.
First time drawing like a run. He'd made like some artwork for like Wizard magazine before, but that was like his first like big like DC Batman book.
And
And it's
if I had
brilliant.
to
It
guess,
still holds up. That art. That art is.
if I had yeah, it's so good. It's so good. If I had to guess, they told Jeff Loeb, hey, you should write as much cool shit in here for like Jim Lee to draw as you can. I just don't think that was the story to do it with. Like I think Hush is a really creepy, like kind of like he works best as his own villain,
Yeah.
like in the story. Like I don't think there needed to be a ton of other villains.
Yeah, I feel like it could have worked better like a kind of mystery and thriller, and it tries
Yeah.
to come off that way. But I think Heart of Hush delivers
Does
that
so much
Art of
better.
Hush gives Tommy Elliott all the characterization that I felt was lacking in Hush One. Like in Hush, it is predictable and it's very obvious. But even when they do the reveal, I'm still like, okay, what is like? I want to hear more of Tommy Elliott's character, and Heart of Hush delivers on that. Like you said, it kind of makes it retroactively.
It makes
better.
it even better. Yeah, because we get more of that character.
Oh, yeah.
Atrocious
Terrible.
garbage.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
So-
I will say, in defense of Hush One, I think it's a lot of fun though.
It's
Like
fun.
it's having
Oh,
fun,
yeah.
and I'm having so much fun with it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Who cares, bro? Toss me like every single Batman villain. I don't care. I'm having a good
Have
time.
And the
Batman is-
design, the
is
Hush design
good-
is so
Good-
cool.
It is. It's really tough, and
Have-
I think
Bruce.
better writing chops involved. Of course, no one's denying that. However, it's a lot of fun, and I do enjoy it still.
I'm with you.
I
on that.
love how Jim Lee draws Killer Croc in that.
Yeah.
Right.
So good.
He's
Jeff
so tough.
Loeb is, I think Hush 2, like the current Hush 2 is like really bad. Jeff Loeb did kind of fall off. I feel like his
100%.
peak, his peak
Yeah.
was. I
Him
say
and Tim
that
Sale.
Tim,
Him and
dude,
Tim Sale was the peak. Long Halloween, Dark
Daredevil-
Victory for
Daredevil
all seasons.
Yellow,
Daredevil
Super-
Yellow,
So good.
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man
Blue.
Blue. Yeah.
Spider-Man Blue.
Spider-Man Blue. It's
Dark
crazy how
Victory.
like Spider-Man Blue is like the best Spider-Man comic, and nothing has ever really touched it like ever.
So
For all
this
seasons,
is not
beautiful.
even like this
is
is not even a
amazing.
joke. If you ask me, my favorite Batman comic is Long Halloween. My favorite Superman comic is For All Seasons. My favorite Spider-Man comic is Spider-Man Blue. Like not to be like
Glaze it.
one trick pony, but they're just my favorites. Like
Yeah.
they're
They're
so
written
good.
so well. I have a special place for when it comes to Superman. I love Up in the Sky.
Oh, this
But
guy's good.
I need to
For
read
all
that
seasons,
one.
Look.
it's just a masterpiece.
Look,
I do love for all seasons.
much has been said about Tom King.
I'm actually we're gonna get to
Oh.
this. I knew we were gonna get to this.
Tom King's Batman Run is fire.
Yes.
Bane is the best Batman villain, and that run solidified it.
People crap on that run so much, and it's not
I
perfect.
really do like the Bane story
Yeah,
arc.
I like the
City of Bane is
And
really
every
good.
single part of that run builds on the fact that Bane is the best Batman villain to the very end.
People crap on Tom King's Batman run so much, and I do like I said, much has been said about Tom King and his affiliations and CIA history. I think Tom King's Batman is solid. Superman Up in the Sky is great. His Mr. Miracles run, Tom King is like, I don't like Heroes in Crisis. I don't like what they did to Wally West in that.
I'm such a Heroes in Crisis defender because it makes sense that what happened with Wally. Okay, everyone's like, oh, Wally wouldn't kill those people. He was overcome with grief. He went to this place for help. All he wanted was help. He figured out a way that he could find help and get his kids back and everything, and it would all be fixed. And they were basically like, no, sit in this room and just talk about your problems. And he was so overcome with grief. His wife forgot him. His kids no longer existed. This man was a surge of energy, and there were people around him when it happened. I think it was the perfect depiction of what Wally was going through at the time. He didn't actively kill people.
I get that. I just like... I don't know,
I see the explosion of Speed Force as an explosion of his emotions because he went through so much trauma. Like, he was Flash for 20 years, and then everyone forgot him except Barry.
I also really like the War of Jokes and Riddles. Go back to Tom King's Batman run. He had that's a really good arc. I think even people that hate on it are like, yeah, that arc is like
War of Jokes and
City
Riddles
of Bane for me is one of my favorites.
City of Bane's good.
Get that man off Wonder Woman though.
Yeah.
God,
I'm gonna bring it up with Tom King's Batman, and I feel like it's one of the ways why Batman stands out so much. Batman is allowed to kind of change and grow, whereas like one of the biggest criticisms with someone like Spider-Man is Marvel refuses to let Spider-Man grow up and have status quo changes.
This is my biggest complaint as a Spider-Man fan, man. Oh my God, Marvel, please, bro, let my boy have something.
At this point, just replace him with Ultimate Spider-Man. Just do a little switch.
Literally.
Throw him in there with 20
honestly.
or 20-something years old, has kids, or I guess he's in his 30s probably now in Ultimate. But
yeah, he's definitely.
Well, that's why people latched on to the new Ultimate Spider-Man so much. Is it's like, wow, this is a Peter Parker that is growing and changing and having kids and is allowed to have his status quo change and allowed to develop and all these things. And within the next 5 years, Peter Parker's gonna be back to like nebulously like 16 to 20 and, you know, still hanging out, living with Aunt May. Like, but someone like Batman and even Superman to a degree, because like with Rebirth, you had him like have John Kent and get married to Lois. Batman has had kind of a very strong history where he's allowed to grow and change and have different routes.
Like Alfred's gone.
Alfred's dead, and I think it's a little
like
bit unfair to Tom King that they were, because that was originally not supposed to be like that. Alfred, that was supposed to be like a fear toxin hallucination, and then DC editorial knocked on his door and was like, "Oh yeah, keep that, like keep Alfred dead."
and like you said, I'm a big fan of Batman being able to grow, and I think killing Alfred was the best way to do that. Do I miss Alfred?
100%.
Yes, I love Alfred. He's one of the most important.
Alfred.
Yeah, I miss him, but it allowed Bruce to take the reins on the Bat family and be a dad and not rely on Alfred all the time. Even though they haven't fully explored it yet, they tried a little bit in Chips and a little bit in Matt Fractions. I think as more time passes, we'll see him grow into a better character because of Alfred's passing.
100%.
I agree. I think it pushed different members of the Bat family in the ways that they kind of needed to be and like they should have been to kind of like get them different outlooks, like especially with, you know, Dick Grayson and stuff like that and what he's trying to do and how he's trying to still like, you know, embody Alfred's charisma, you know, when and Tom Taylor's Nightwing, right? And like just feel like I think it was a great decision to see like, okay, what does Bruce do when he loses like, you know, one of his mentors, his role models,
His father figure.
exactly, like one of his like, you know, more I won't say moral compasses, but like in a way like, you know, one of his guys, if you go what I'm trying to say, like what does he do? And that's the same question we all ask. Like, what do I do now? This person's been riding with me for like, all this time. What do I do? And I really like that.
Bane is such a goated villain.
I like him
So good.
He's
the best Batman.
He's so good. I mean, Scarecrow's my personal favorite. But Bane is
Scarecrow's my
right up
number
there.
two. I love Scarecrow.
Scarecrow's great.
Hey, what do you think of
good.
Fear State? Because I love Fear State.
I really like the Scarecrow design from that. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't read a ton of it.
Okay.
I really like the Scarecrow design. That's what I could say.
James Tynion's Batman run is one of my favorite
Yes.
Batman runs.
Same-
Same with his
same.
Detective Comics. It's my favorite Detective
I like
Comics run.
I've read
His Rebirth
Comics.
Detective Comics.
Yeah.
With Tim
Yes.
Drake and Clayface. Dude, when Cass rips the bat symbol, I always think of that moment from that run
So
where
good.
Cassandra
It's so
rips the
good.
logo off Kate Kane's chest and is like, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
Shouts out,
he brought it up. I really like Secret Six. That's a really good like Bane. If you're into Bane,
Secret
Gail
yeah.
Simone. Yeah.
Gail.
yeah,
The
the
Go.
OG Gail Simone stuff, where they're going on like a buddy cop road trip across America to get the card that's like a get out of hell free thing.
Yeah.
So good. So I love Gail Simone. Her stuff is great.
I really like the little Forever Evil tie-in when Bane like kind of donned the Batsuit for like an issue. It was just like a little one-issue tie-in. It was like the Arkham War or something like that, and he was basically like trying to keep all the villains from breaking out, and so he put on like a metal cowl and like ripped sleeves and a cape, and he was just beating the crap out of people as Batman, and it was kind of fire.
People always argue about who has better rogues, Batman or Spider-Man.
It's Batman.
It's
It's got to be Batman.
It's
As
Batman
a Spider-Man
easily.
fan, it's regrettable to say, but I think it has
Like-
to be Batman.
for me, and I said this earlier, every Batman villain in some way mirrors or has some sort of thematic emotional connection to Bruce Wayne. Whereas like in Spider-Man, the Shocker just kind of robs banks, you know, like
Spider-Man villains are good. Don't get
Spider-Man
me
villains
wrong.
are good.
Yeah.
But I
you
feel
can't
like-
say, you can't talk shit
should've
about
spoiled that, I don't
boys
think.
villains.
Yeah.
They got big wheel.
Don't
How could you talk shit on
No,
big
I
wheel?
agree.
Sorry.
I think Spider-Man has good villains, but Batman has more like emotionally compelling villains because most of them are connected to Bruce and
I
his
agree.
mission. Most of them are just like robbing things, and Spider-Man stops them, and they're like, "I hate you, Spider-Man," and then it goes
Yeah.
from there. I mean, there are a few that are definitely tied to him, like Green Goblin, obviously, and Doc Ock, and all
Yeah.
those things.
The difference between them, like I'm a psychology major, so I'm always thinking about stuff from the perspective of psychology. And like Batman's villains, I could sit here and write an essay on each of them about what like super specific disorders they have, why they have it. Spider-Man villains are all just kind of like crazy. Like Norman Osborn, like he's just crazy.
he's a
Like,
little yeah. And that's
Crazy
I don't
and broke.
Chris,
They just need some
I don't
money.
mean I
He's
didn't
just the CEO, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't mean to start the spider slander, but yeah, I'm sorry, Chris, Spider-Man fan.
Totally okay. I 100% agree, unfortunately.
Listen, this is the Batman.
no,
Is
I
this
love
the
it.
Batman show? Like
I agree. I'm not saying I disagree. It's like Spider-Man more as a character. That's
Okay.
just my personal preference.
I love
But,
Spider-Man.
Who's lasted
but
longer?
I
Batman
will agree
against
that his
Spider-Man's
rogues
rogues or
gallery are
Spider-Man
just
against-
crazy people.
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
question.
that's a
or
great
Batman
question.
against Spider-Man's rogues.
Batman against Spider-Man.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Spider-Man.
Spider-Man-
washes
Spider-Man
Batman's
kinda-
rogue gallery.
Spider-Man
I think he's more
beats the
powerful.
fuck out of.
I
like,
think he
half of
kind of
them.
washes. Yeah. All
But
of
I
here's
think
them.
where I
Spider-Man
disagree.
Spider-Man would struggle with a few.
I don't
Spider-Man
think
would
he'd
struggle
struggle physically with any of them. There's not a
Yeah, like-
I
villain.
think Joker
I-
would break
Okay.
him.
There's
There we
there's
go.
not a Batman villain that Spider-Man would struggle with physically. I think a majority of them would
Yes.
break him mentally. Scarecrow,
Yes.
Joker.
Yes. However, they've just sealed their death warrant, unfortunately, because Spider-Man, when he breaks, he's not as nice as Bruce Wayne. He's gonna kill those guys.
Back in black.
They're gonna
True.
die.
Oh, Black too. It's over.
Genuinely, they're just
Pink
dead.
got it.
But he's not going to kill almost
Oh,
every
he's
single
gonna
one of
kill
those villains.
all of them.
Nah, Spider-Man. He might go.
Well, he's gonna
far
kill
and kill one
Joker
of them.
probably. He's gonna kill like probably Scarecrow.
I was gonna say if
theoretically.
Scarecrow hits Peter with that fear toxin,
Peter's
Crane's
done for.
cooked.
But like, I mean, Spider-Man has the same thing with Scorpion.
Tingle.
though.
If the spider sense, would it
Spider
not
sense.
kind of like he would know if it's fear toxin
It's
or not?
different from
I mean,
Mysterio.
yeah, I mean,
Mysterio's
Mysterio,
an
sure.
illusion.
He also has,
Scarecrow,
like,
it affects his
like his
He
brain.
has
mind.
Scorpion, but he has Scorpion. Scorpion does the same thing.
Scorpion just poisons him.
Yeah,
Don't
but sometimes he
compare
gives him
Scorpion to Scarecrow.
To the
hallucinations.
goat
Or am I
Scarecrow. What are
tripping?
you doing?
I mean, it's not the same thing, but he gives him hallucinations sometimes.
I mean, in the game, yeah.
yeah,
Raven, I guess you could say also
Sometimes.
with like the potions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Maybe
sure.
the-
Yeah,
I
realistic.
mean,
The gases and the tranquilizers.
Well, hold on. He might not save it like socially, but like
I mean, like obviously, like the villain you're
Yeah.
saying. You think he would clean up Gotham in a night?
in a night.
yes. In a night, maybe not.
That's like the
But-
people who ask, like, who could Insomniac Spider-Man last in the Arkham Knight, and could Arkham Knight Batman last in the Spider-Man game?
Arkham
Spider-Man,
Knight Batman. would-
Arkham
Spider-Man
Knight
would
Batman
get
just has to
cooked.
press triangle, dude.
Spider-Man would get
yeah,
cooked.
I think you're right,
Clearing
Cosmo.
Gotham in one
I think-
night like that? No.
If Spider-Man had to fight like Arkham Knight Killer Croc or like the cloud burst and shit. If Spider-Man had to fight the tanks from Arkham Knight, bro,
Bro, Spider-Man washes them. What are you talking?
dude, dude,
No,
The Cobra-
Chris, you haven't even played Arkham
the
Knight.
Cobra
Yes,
tanks.
I have. What?
I think we're really underestimating Spider-Man's strength. I honestly
Bro.
think Peter Parker holds back way more than
Yes,
Bruce Wayne
he
in the
does.
team.
That
That's what I'm saying.
motherfucker's
Physically,
strong.
he doesn't lose to any of these people. I just
Yeah.
think mentally,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
mentally
Yeah.
he's getting
Yeah.
broken
Yeah.
before he takes them all out.
Sure. I mean, you could say that.
That's the other thing too. I feel like I never got into power scaling because I feel like
No.
a lot of the
Yeah.
power,
That,
the
That's
power
rabbit-
scaling.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, I know.
But we're-
The power
But
scaling
people
thing.
actually get mad.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This is just a
My
fun
thing is-
combo.
My thing is with
I'm-
power scaling, I feel like people forget the tenets of storytelling and like look at it almost too objectively. Of like people forget, like, yeah, if you put Spider-Man in a room with a bunch of Batman villains and told them to only fight, yes, Spider-Man would win. But if you wrote a story
did.
where Spider-Man gets infected with fear toxin, that's interesting. That's a more like developed conflict.
That's when people ask me like, who wins, this character, this character? I'm just like, whoever the writer wants to win.
That was the
Because-
Stan.
Yeah.
That's the Stan Lee answer. And
Yeah, it's whoever the writer was because it's a storytelling medium. At the end of the day, anyone can win, and who really cares? You know, like
Yeah,
who really
I mean,
cares
that's-
that much to get mad about it? Is what I mean. Like, obviously, I love having these fun little debates, but like,
They're fun.
people genuinely get upset.
People
about
get
these things.
fucked.
Me and Quincy made a video on our TikTok page a while ago where we were doing power scaling with a filter. And
Yeah.
I'm sure Cosmic, you've dealt with this with your filter videos as well. But like we put like I put like Lobo like a notch below somebody, and we had like 4 or 5 comments being like, dude, Lobo is the most strong DC character of all time. What are you talking about? Like, and I'm just like, dude,
durable.
We say that, you say that,
Yeah,
and then if
yeah.
you look at a classic example, DCKO, Lobo versus Wonder Woman, he should not have lost that, but because of it's a writer, it's plot, he did. That's how it always goes.
exactly.
Whoever the writer
Yeah.
wants to win.
then there's some storylines where he just beats the whole Justice League.
yeah,
Boom,
exactly.
There's storylines where
And
Batman
Batman,
beats
the
the whole
character that
Justice
got
League.
caught up
Superman
in
would
this-
knock him out with a
Deadpool once
backhand.
killed the Marvel universe because of story
Oh,
reasons.
wait, then he did it again, and then he did it one last
and then
time.
he did it
He did
again.
Yeah, and then Batman gets unfortunately caught up in this stuff.
Batman wins
more
with prep time, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I hate that.
I'm really glad that we're all on the same page with that because we're all like lifelong
Batman
Batman, fans,
fans.
or very big Batman fans, and that's just like such an like
So-
I don't think
the thing is, I was that little kid on the middle school playground. Batman can totally beat all the Green Lanterns, like if he has prep time. I was that annoying little shit, and
He
as I've
just needs to
grown
dress
up,
up in yellow and then he's chill.
that's a moment in All Star Batman. Like that's
The
a
only
moment
good
in
issue.
Yeah, where like that's fucking hilarious to me. And
They paint the
it's
whole
fact
room
that he
yellow. He's sipping lemonade.
Paint the room
It's-
yellow. Yeah, he's like, Robin, bring me the lemonade, and he sips it, and everyone's like, "Fuck you, dude."
And it's a great issue
Oh, that's
until
so
he
funny.
backhands Robin and throws him into a wall. And I'm just like, you had a good issue,
Yeah.
Frank Miller, and then you just like decided to make him abusive again.
oh my god. And doesn't he call Robin the R word in that
Yes.
too?
He does.
The-
Alfred's ripped though. Alfred's like freaking ripped in that story.
And Joker has all the tattoos and stuff too.
Yeah.
Black Canary though.
A good Batman story that I feel like is a happy-go-lucky, fun one, and I know you
Oh,
love this
Batman
one. too.
Universe.
Batman Universe, and it's by
Bendis.
Bendis.
Yeah.
I love Brian Michael Bendis' stuff, like from his Daredevil stuff to like some of his X-Men stuff. I will say I'm a big X-Men fan, so I do love some of his X-Men stuff. But I feel like that one is just you just see Batman going on a world tour through the DC universe. I feel like obviously like that was what the idea with Hush was, to put him in these different scenarios. But I feel like obviously that does it better, Batman universe, because you see him in the Wild West, you see him with the Lanterns in Vanguard.
what-
It reminds me of the episode of Batman.
Brave
I was
and
just gonna
Bold.
bring up
So-
Brave and the Bold. Brave and the Bold is one of my favorite portrayals of Batman ever. You don't like it?
No, I said it's so good. I said. It's
Oh,
so
I thought you
good.
said it's.
Oh,
I think you
yeah.
said it's no good. I'm like,
No,
dog.
it's so good. I love Brave and the Bold. It was my first introduction to so many characters.
That's the same.
Yeah.
Like, I was
So
like
good.
5 years old knowing who Booster Gold was, like, because that was the Batman show.
Jonah Hex,
Blue
like,
Beetle
yeah.
and Huntress.
Red
was in
Tornado.
there. All of it.
That was
going
the
back
Batman
to Bendis really
show.
quick. How do you feel about his Superman stuff? Because I'm a big Superman Bendis defender.
I'm not gonna
I
lie, I
haven't
haven't
read as
read
much of it, but
Oh,
that's
yeah.
when he reveals his identity, right?
Yeah, it's the Rogglzar stuff, and obviously I don't like the aging up of John Kent thing, but I do think
Yeah.
they took something that was
No,
a
I-
horrible decision and they've turned it into something great because I love how John Kent is.
Did
now.
Bendis do like the stuff where Superman has like his son, or is that Tomasi?
That's
I
Tomasi
Mossy
think
did
it
it
might be
first,
Tomasi.
and then it led into the Bendis stuff where
To the Bendis.
Okay.
John went off with his grandpa, came back, and he was older.
Of John Kent does really suck.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, it's solid. I think of Bendis, I think of like Bagley Spider-Man and like the original Ultimate Spider-Man
Yeah.
stuff.
Ultimate
Yeah,
Spider-Man,
Ultimate.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Batman Universe is really good.
haven't
It's
read it
like
yet.
I read it. I've heard about it for a while. Somebody told me to read it, and I read it like recently, like a couple months ago, and I was like, wow, this is like better than I thought it would be. Because I just couldn't picture Bendis writing Batman, and he doesn't really write like traditional, like edgy, brooding.
Yeah.
Like it's more of a light. It's like Brave and the Bold.
Brave
Yeah.
and the Bold,
Yeah. That was a good way of putting it.
Have y'all read Last Night on Earth? It's Snyder and Capullo.
The Scott Snyder thing where he carries
Yeah,
around
yeah.
the Joker head.
Joker's
on his
head.
Yeah.
It's like an alternate world, and it's
Really good up until the end. I don't love the ending of that book.
that's fair. I'm a sucker.
That was
I love it.
around the time I like Dark Knight's Metal and that stuff was going on, and I didn't really get it. I was not really a fan of the Dark Knight's Metal stuff.
Yeah, no.
I didn't get into it. I think the Batman Who Laughs got way too popular way too quick, and I was like never really that crazy about him.
Love him. He got oversaturated, but I
He
still,
did
I
like
still
that.
love
That
him.
was my thing. He got like he was everywhere for a little chunk of time.
Yeah, I mean, proof of strong concept, but fumbled the bag, unfortunately.
I just don't understand how he got so popular too, because like I have friends that are not into comics, not into superheroes, and I had like a Batman Who Laughed Funko Pop in my room because somebody had given it to me as a gift, and she like walked into my room and she was like, "I like that's really cool. I like him. I know that guy." And I'm like, "How do you know?" Like
He wasn't even like an animated movie or like a
He was
He
just
like blew up a couple of years ago though.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I think it's
I-
because it was the
it's
image
the
of the
imagery.
Joker
Yeah.
face with the Batman head. It was just everywhere.
Yeah, I
so
think you're
everyone
right,
was seeing it.
Cosmo.
there was definitely
Did
like
he make it
I
rounds
think
on
he
Twitter?
just
Is
kind
that
of
what it
looks
is?
cool as a design.
pretty
No,
sure
no,
there was,
Twitter
like,
everywhere.
some-
It was a pop culture thing. Like everyone just started seeing him
Yeah.
everywhere, and they're like, "Oh, it's Batman
Yeah.
with the Joker."
which
Then it became Dark Knight. Then eventually that went into the power scaling community, which I see that a lot. Then he just got like
Yeah, he just
4D, 5D. Like he negs all the universes, so the power scaling went even more crazy.
well,
Yeah.
not all the universes. If the universe has a Batman with prep time, then he doesn't because Batman.
Yeah.
True.
Dark Side.
Wait a minute, true.
Yeah, and that moment that everyone takes of him beating Darkseid is like another moment of like
Yes, my
just
goat
a lighter.
in the Hellbat armor.
Yeah, I love that, and I also love the. Oh my God, who wrote it? Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb and Batman and Superman stuff where he goes up against Darkseid as well. Like,
Oh yeah.
I really like when Batman goes up against like bigger than like once in a blue moon. I think it's good for him to like fight somebody like Darkseid.
Especially when he out like Jeff Loeb, what you just mentioned, when he outsmarts him and he's just like,
Yeah.
"I'll blow up
Yeah.
the whole planet," and he's like, "No, you won't." He's like, "Test me," and I'm just like, "That's the coolest thing you've ever said."
Here's the code. Like,
You're
my,
just-
my kind of philosophy is that like for Batman in terms of like his power level, even if we're not doing like the prep time stuff, in Batman like solo stories he should be human and can get beaten by like the ventriloquist. If Batman's with the Justice League, he should be like borderline invincible to like be alongside them.
Yeah.
Just as like
He
a
has his hacks on.
yeah. Anytime someone marginally more powerful than Batman is disrespecting him on the Justice League, I'm like, nah, go get him, Bruce. Just like a dick to them.
It's so funny whenever he, like you said, like when he loses to like some low tier villain the first time in his own run, and then when he's with the Justice League, he just locks in and just beats Darkseid.
Yeah.
It's just like you're telling me you lost to this
The fucking
mental-
ventriloquist.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
a freaking puppet, but you're beating this god of chaos in. one
And
punch.
and you know what? That's the beauty of Batman. Cause like
It is.
no one else can really do that. Like and get
That's
away
what
with
this is
it.
all
on the-
about the beauty of Batman.
No, and that's yeah. Grant Morrison is kind of responsible for the whole Bat God thing.
yes, that's my favorite run.
And
I
Morrison
agree.
Batman, but even before like he had his Batman run where he dug himself out of the grave, even in like Morrison's Justice League run, where Batman, like the White Martians come out and they attack all the Justice League, they like kick their ass, and then Batman discovers that their weakness is fire and like lights a ring of fire around all of them and is like, let's fucking do this.
Yeah,
Morrison
their
is
their Batman stuff is incredible.
yeah.
I really love that they kind of had this idea where they're like, okay, let's take everything that's ever happened to Batman in the
And make
Silver
it
Age,
canon.
all this crazy stuff, and let's just make it canon and let's make it make sense. Like that is such an outlandish and like creative way to tackle the
Yeah.
character of, yeah, exactly. Like to tackle the character of Batman and then having like what's his name, Simon Hurt. Like that,
Simon
he
Hurt,
is
yeah.
such a good villain.
Like
Yeah, I like
such
him.
insane concept. I will say, I think Morrison sometimes goes a little too like when I first read Batman R.I.P. I was like 13, did not understand what that like any. I
No.
did not understand that shit, and I think like, yeah, I think that there is a point in that stuff that goes a little too far, but I think it is still overall a great run with a lot of great ideas and handles those ideas better than like any like if anything else attempted those ideas, it would probably be way worse. Like it handles like I would never put Batman Incorporated and like the Batman of all nations. I would never do that. But for a run that did that, it did that in the best way that it possibly could have been done.
I need to read that.
Oh, people didn't talk about it. Like I feel like everyone kind of like they did it with Tom King. They even at some point for a little while did it with Snyder. Like everyone like kind of outrages at whatever the main Batman comic is doing,
They ignore Detective
and they
Comics,
ignore Detective Comics. They ignore
which is usually really good and
Yeah.
better sometimes. Like
because there's less like it's not the main Batman title. There's less pressure on
some
it.
of my favorite Batman stuff like ever, and I don't hear enough people talk about it at all, is like the Alan Grant and
Dude.
Defoe
Yes.
90s.
Yeah,
I think it's starting to get a little more popular now, thank God. But that stuff, like the comedy, like that's like classic Batman to me. And it's told mostly, I could be wrong, but mostly in Detective Comics.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that, like, what it really comes down to DC and the editorial just being like, you can do this, you can't do this. And I think they put a lot more restrictions on the mainline Batman than Detective Comics. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it feels that way.
Brayfogel's art is still one of
Oh
like
my
the
God.
defining. When I miss pointy shoulders Batman, where he has like the cape kind of spikes up.
The cape is like
Yeah.
flowing.
Blown out, yeah.
Brayfogel's Batman art is so definitive for me because I got a bunch of those comics at like a yard sale when I was a kid, and like so even if I like was a kid and didn't like fully like get the full story, I would still read that, and like that is like the image of Batman in my mind. His art is incredible. It sucks that we've lost so many of like the great like pioneers of comics, like the true like the OGs. Tim Sale. I don't mean to be a fucking downer, but Brayfogle passed away. Tim Sale a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That one hit me. Yeah.
That's why we were so honored to like
Steve
be able to
Englehart,
interview
yeah.
Englehart. He's definitely an older gentleman, but and though he doesn't keep up with like comics as much anymore, he understood Batman just like any of us would. Like he really just has such like an iron grip of the character, and like he has a very like his run. I think is someone that I read throughout my life and then reread recently for the interview with him. He has like 8 issues that he does.
Yeah.
Only 8 issues, and then he comes back in 2004 and does some more issues. But those like original 8 issues he did, like Strange Apparitions,
Strange Apparitions. So good.
is such an important part of Batman being the Batman that people know today. Like people don't realize that Englehart had something to do with like Batman '89. Like he was a really pivotal part of making Batman go from being a joke to being serious. So,
People always point to Dark Knight Returns as like that's the moment.
It's ridiculous.
And it was like Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams had been doing that in the 70s.
Yep.
And like if you want to argue culturally, like it was Batman '89 in terms of like normal people, like going from Adam West Batman, which is amazing and beautiful and I love it, to Burton Batman. Like culturally, you want to argue that, but in terms of the comics, people had been doing like Englehart, Denny O'Neil had been doing that before Dark Knight Returns and Killing Joke came out.
Yeah, so when we were asking for because he's gonna be on a different like segment, we're gonna interview him.
You're
It's a
gonna
professor from our school.
Yeah,
You're gonna
he's a
Yeah.
freshman.
you're gonna interview Bray?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
and then he told me that like in like I guess like his Denny O'Neill's like wiki that he like there's his interviews referenced with him. True.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to ask him about that.
We're having a Batman episode and nobody has brought up Absolute Batman. I think we need to talk
I
about
was
that.
going
for a minute.
to earlier, but then I didn't.
You did talk about
Yeah,
it.
which is awesome.
It's so tough. He has
Yeah.
so much aura.
That's the thing. So through a guy who knows a guy who might be lying, I know what happens in the next issue. I'm not going to spoil that here, but like apparently Scott Snyder has a house here in New York and goes to this comic book store that's about an hour away from me frequently and like knows like the owner and had like told him like, hey, what do you think about this idea for the next issue of Absolute Batman? It sounds like I'm saying just trust me, bro. And I kind of am.
The one thing that's making me kind of believe you, one of the villains, he just revealed at a fan meet. He was
I
like,
thought it was Scarecrow the next
Yeah.
one.
Scarecrow. Yeah. Yeah. Doing so much. He loves the game.
he's a cool dude.
Absolute Batman is kind of just like it's really cool, man. Like Batman is 6 feet Batman's fucking 8 feet tall and slings around an axe. Like hell yeah, man. Like
It's just taking like the Batman meter and just putting it like past the max.
Yeah.
Just like,
and
it's just Batman at his most Batman we've
love-
seen in a long time.
I love that the art for Absolute Batman just wears its references on its sleeve, like just fully.
Yeah.
Like you can see the Berserk, the Chainsaw Man, like all of these like crazy manga shit that
Yeah.
that isn't even related to Batman, but you can see that coming through the art, and it just looks so phenomenal. Like to me, Absolute Batman replicates like the shonen manga formula, like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. It's like the modern shonen. It reminds me of Jujutsu Kaisen a lot. Yeah, exactly. It's so awesome.
Yes.
And so this is you just saying that I've been meaning to say this, and I want to say this even before, like when I knew I was going to be on this. My kind of big thesis for Batman, and I would say, because I was going to ask you guys, like, I don't know when we're concluding this, but to say like what your favorite thing about Batman. I was going to ask like what your favorite thing about Batman is. Absolute Batman's a great example. One of the things that I think is so great and so unique about Batman is he is so malleable as a character, but we're going to stick with the word malleable. Because with Batman, there are so many different things you can do with him and have it still feel like Batman. Because I feel like if you take Superman too far in one direction, he doesn't feel like Superman anymore. If you take
He's
him
like
too far,
flexible.
you take him too much in the other direction, doesn't feel like Superman. I would even argue the same goes for Spider-Man. Batman is so cool in that you can have Absolute Batman, you can have Dark Knight Returns, you can have Brave and the Bold, you can have Adam West, all the different cinematic, Bale, Pattinson, Keaton animated series, all do very different and very unique things with that character, and still all feel like Batman, and still all feel emotionally true to what Batman is supposed to be. And I think that that's really beautiful and really unique to Batman, of just how malleable and how changeable and how versatile of a character he is. That feel Batman. Yeah. Ben Affleck's Bruce is very good.
He's a capable actor.
The writing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's kind of the thing that makes Batman the best comic character ever. Look, I love Superman, I love Spider-Man, I love fucking The Question and Green Arrow. But
Goated.
it's what I think makes Batman stand out and why so many people are attracted to Batman, both fans and also artists. Like, there are movie directors like Denis Villeneuve, who directed the Dune movies, and Guillermo del Toro, who's directed, how many other things. They're like, I've seen them go on interviews and be like, I would never make a superhero movie, but I would direct a Batman movie. And there's something that attracts people to Batman, and that's his ability to be changed and still feel Batman.
Everybody has like a version of Batman that they grew, and like Batman is not just my favorite comic book character of all time, but my favorite like fictional character of all time. I mean, not to get like corny or like sentimental, but like part of who I am because of the lessons I learned from watching Batman shows, from reading the comic. And I think he's just such like a beacon of, I mean, some people nowadays like kind of misinterpret Batman a little bit, but he's such a beacon of like positive masculinity and like working through things in the right way. And, people look at it, it's like, oh, Batman just beats people up through his trauma. But
Whenever I
deeper than
hear that hurts me. That like physically hurts
Yeah.
me to hear that, because it's like, to me, Batman is the ultimate story of taking your pain and turning it into something positive at its core. There are different ways you can interpret that, different ways that idea and message has been taken. But at its core, look, I never had my parents shot in an alleyway, but everyone has experienced pain and struggles and tragedy and hurt.
Yeah.
And Batman is about taking all of that negativity and making it into something positive. Whether that's, within your own self becoming, better with your mental health, or helping other people, or doing a job that helps people. Any way you take that, that is the message of the core of Batman that I believe in so much and is so true to what I've internalized in my own life.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to add on to that, because to me, what Batman means is like, and to a certain extent, it applies to other heroes as well. But I think when I think of this concept, I really think of Batman. It's more like, you're a rich, powerful guy who's gone through some shit in your life, and, despite everything, despite the horrors that he sees on a daily basis, he always does what's right and what's noble. And I think that's what most people try to aspire to be, even in the moments where no one sees, there's no pressure from anybody or anything, you still choose the correct path. And that's like what Batman means to me. I think he's like the essence of nobility. Like, people usually say like, oh, Superman is like, the golden Boy Scout. But I honestly think that Batman is more noble than Superman, in my opinion.
Because he's a human. There's so much sacrifice.
Me.
Yeah.
Like,
so good.
he's so goated. And it's pretty fucking cool when he like slings around an axe and beats the fuck out of people.
And he aura farms.
Yeah, really. We're really kind of doing it.
Can't think of any flaws with him. How about that Lego Batman game coming out? Oh,
Dude, my introduction to Batman was the first Lego Batman video game. And
might have been mine too. It's possible.
my uncle, because I was 5 years old, my parents started buying me Legos. I had like a fire truck and a police car. And my uncle was like, hey, I hear you're playing with Legos now. I got a Lego video game. You want to come over and play? I went over to my uncle's house. We played the game all night. And that was like my intro to Batman and Robin and the world. And then everything else after just kind of hit me all at once, like Brave and the Bold and the movies. And I have a vivid memory of watching The Dark Knight when I was 5. Too young for me to be watching that. I had like a fear that Heath Ledger Joker was in my closet. And like that image terrified me as a kid. I don't know why I just said that publicly on a podcast. It's going to be like posted publicly. I just spilled my guts about that. But That's fair. Everyone has that one thing that kind of.
Cosmic. That
That was a horrible experience. Yeah.
I had a Cosmic. That's crazy you say that because I had the same exact like Slappy the doll from Goosebumps and Chucky were like my two greatest fears when I was a kid. I was afraid of both. There was a comic book store near my house growing up that had a life-size Chucky. Forget about it.
Dude.
I have stories where I would literally run out of it screaming because I would see that Chucky out of the corner of my eyes and get so scared. Yeah, like I'm not. It's definitely a fear I'm like away from.
Yeah.
was
We
scared
really
of,
grew up at like the best time to be like Batman fans, all of us.
Favorite Batsuit? Go.
World's
of
finest
all
blue and
time,
gray.
comics, live act, you gotta like
Any Batsuit. Any. It can be
Any
comics.
Batsuit.
It can be the movie suits.
the Nor Brayfogle one.
So blue and gray. Blue and gray.
Blue and gray with the
Blue
flowing
and gray.
cape. Yeah.
I love blue and
Michael
gray.
Keaton. No, I'm kidding.
I like the Keaton suit.
I don't like how his neck doesn't move.
No, Christian Bale's first suit from Batman Begins is the worst, dude. Why in every shot does he
yeah.
look like this?
And
Like
he's got,
every
the
single
flat
shot.
neck, too.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I don't
He's
like
got like a
that one.
duck neck the entire time.
Anyway.
And
You're
for me,
right.
with the yellow
it
oval, that was
crazy?
my answer.
Is it crazy to say I really like the Absolute Batman one?
No,
I
No,
think it's fire.
it's-
It's really grown on me.
It's grown up. Yeah, because when the logo, one of my big problems with the Ben Affleck Batsuit is I don't like how much like the logo kind of looks just like a rectangle. Like it looks less defined as a bat shape. And then the Absolute Batman logo came out and I was like, oh, that's
That's
even more.
just a rectangle.
That's
It's
just
a rectangle
that's,
with 4 spikes.
yeah. But then he pulled it off his chest and it's a fucking accent. It's like, yeah,
It's a fucking battle axe.
Yeah. Functionality
Yeah,
makes
let's-
his suit even better. Yeah.
It's my profile picture on most things. The New Adventures suit from the animated series. I don't know
So-
why. It's because it's just like the standard gray and black bat suit with pouches on the belt, just the black bat. I don't know if it's the Bruce Timm art style, but ever since I was a kid, like that was just always my favorite look. I have a action figure up here of it, and then in the animation cell up top, and then a couple over there. That's always been my favorite. The animated series.
So good.
It's classic. Pattinson.
Also really like the Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond's a great design that I feel people like. Anytime I see Batman Beyond in a lot of other places, I feel like they overcomplicate it, and I think what part
No,
of the
I
beauty,
like the sleekness of it.
the slick kind of simplicity of the Beyond suit is why I
Yeah.
like it so much.
I will say the Arkham Knight version of it is still really cool. Like,
It's
skin.
so sick.
It's cool as its
It's the
own
one I
thing.
rock when I play that
Yeah.
game.
Favorite Batmobile? Go.
Batman
Keaton.
animated.
I love
Yeah, the
Batmobile.
Keaton one is really tough.
Yeah.
The
I
Keaton
mean, I
Bat-
love Pattinson's too because it's just a muscle car. and
It's
it's
just a
fire.
muscle car.
Definitely not
The best
Yeah.
Batmobile though is Keaton.
Definitely not the Dark Knight one. That's just the tank, bro.
I love the Tumbler.
I like the Tumbler. I think it's
I like,
And the fact that the
it's
bike
like what
comes
it would
out.
be in real life.
Not enough aura for me.
I can
It needs
agree.
more aura.
The Keaton Batmobile is iconic and great. I also have fond memories of going to Six Flags, and that's the Batmobile that's there.
The
Okay.
Batman ride at Six Flags, that ride is so good, Rob.
Should I just keep like rapid firing these?
Like the Dark Knight one, where he's like
Yeah,
in the
bro,
dark.
just geek
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
That's
good.
pretty dope.
The Dark Knight one's cool.
Wait, we have to talk about the Lego Batman movie.
Peak 10 out of 10 masterpiece.
Shouts
One
out-
of the best
shouts
Batman.
out Will
It's
Arnett.
It's might be the best. Take question mark.
I like the Lego.
No, I was gonna say it might be the best before.
I
like
think
one
it
of
might be the best.
I think it goes a little bit off the rails when it's like, why is the Eye of Sauron in this movie? And they start doing like
Because
like,
Warner Brothers.
Voldemort
because it's
and-
technically in the same universe as the
as the Lego movie.
So
which
it's
is
like all
cool. Yeah.
connected.
So I
But
get
like,
it.
I also get that. Just
I
make
think
it
the
Batman.
first two acts are a lot stronger, but I think it's great.
I agree with that.
No, the Lego DC
Sure.
movies from back in the day, those were.
Oh, yeah. The
like, it had so many of them. There was a Flash one. And
there was a
Aquaman
Flash one. There was like a Cosmic Boy one with the Legion of Superheroes, and
Dude, the Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes TV animated show. key part of my childhood. Amazing. That and the Crypto the Super Dog one.
Oh my god, the
Crypto the
one.
Super Dog mentioned.
Do you guys remember that channel? What was it, like WB Kids?
Kids
Was that
WB, yeah.
Kids WB. Oh my.
I didn't watch a lot of the Legion of Superheroes show, but I am
Neither
aware.
did I. Although, that was good stuff.
There's a fan theory that the Legion of Superheroes show, the Batman 2004, and Teen Titans 2003 are all in the same universe.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Definitely, the Batman 04 and the Teen Titans one is a little bit stronger, and I've heard people throw Legion of Superheroes in there just because
Teen Titans is so gas.
you're
That
no
show
Teen
is-
Titans.
it's-
Is
Top 5.
What
That's-
Robin do you guys think that Robin
it's Dick
is?
Grayson.
That's the great
Okay,
one.
good.
Grayson.
I mean, Nightwing.
I
multiple
can't-
times.
Yeah,
he literally does.
He becomes.
I'm glad we all agree.
He becomes Nightwing. The Batmite version of Robin, his name is like Dick Grayson spelled backwards or whatever. Like, it's Dick Grayson.
I've heard people say, "Oh, it's Tim Drake."
It's
I'm
not
like,
Tim
dude,
Drake.
it is not.
Why?
So-
Nobody cares about Tim Drake.
All right,
Yeah, for real.
listen,
I'm kidding.
pal.
I'm kidding.
So
I love Tim. I love Tim.
The thing that
He's the
happened
best
with
Robin.
Tim Drake is like Tim was Robin for so long that a lot of Tim Drake and Wally West have the same thing that happened where they were the main Flash and Robin for so long that elements of those characters seeped in. So Tim Drake was the first Robin to wear pants and use a bow staff, but then plenty of Robin adaptations after that. Here's Dick Grayson, and he has pants, and he has a bow staff, and things like the same thing with Wally. Like Wally being more quippy and sarcastic seeped into adaptations of Barry because Barry Allen's boring.
Flash.
Wally's the best Flash, but
I mean,
CW Barry Allen being more joking around a lot. There is elements of that came from Wally West.
People forget
100%.
that Barry's low-key kind of a stick in the mud in the comics.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he,
Yeah,
I
he's not.
could be
He's
wrong.
not. He's not Spider-Man. He's not quipping all the time. That's a Wally trait.
That's
that
a
they
Wally,
just
yeah.
adopted onto Barry.
adopted. Yeah, to make
Has
him
Wally been Flash more than Barry has? Am I wrong?
not canonical. Not if you break down the time, because if Barry became Flash in I think the 50s,
50s.
and then he died in Crisis in 1986, so let's just say that's 30 years. And then Wally was the Flash throughout the 90s and the 2000s, but then Barry came back in 2009.
Yeah, Barry's
But-
got 10 years on Wally in terms of how long they've been the Flash in continuity. Like,
Post-Crisis DC is like one of its most significant eras, and Wally was the Flash for that. So that's why Wally is seen as like the best Flash, because post-Crisis era DC, and you had Morrison writing for Flash, or wait,
Justice League.
Justice League. Wade was writing for
Wade,
Flash.
yeah.
Yes.
Mark
Yeah,
Waid, yeah.
Wade, and then Morrison did do some Wally, and then it went to
Yeah.
Jeff Johns.
Johns. Yes.
To go. Yeah, that's such a good era for just like DC in
DC
general, and
always.
like especially Batman post-crisis
Post-crisis.
really started to hit his stride. And like, I think what I realized like when we were talking to Englehart is that Batman, and I hope my theory is that he's just going to keep getting better and better as a character because the people writing the Batman stories are now like Steve Englehart. He didn't have much to go off of when he was writing that. This is a guy that grew up on
Silver and Golden Age, so, yeah.
And then he wrote this really good, very good story. And then people read that and grew up and wrote their Batman stuff and kept going on for generations and generations. And as a character, he's more flexible, like you said before, Rob, but he's gotten more like people understand him more and more the central components of what make Batman Batman. And I think I've just seen that more and more over time. Like he just gets better.
Yeah. I'm enjoying Matt Fraction's stuff even right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Paul Dini's, like we were talking about earlier. It's
It
very
does, it does.
episodic, there's a big
Yes.
overarching thing, but every issue is like its own
Feels like
self-contained
its own.
little Batman story. Yeah.
I think he's doing a Tim Drake like solo thing too.
There's a
at some
Tim
point.
Drake solo thing happening. There's also like a DC.
But fractions right. making
Oh no,
one,
he
like,
confirmed. They confirmed it's not a. So he's going to explore Tim's story through his run. It's not going to
Okay.
be until later on. He said because he couldn't really fit it into what he's trying to do now. Because he doesn't want to rush it. He wants to actually flesh out what he's doing with Tim, which
Also,
I respect. I respect.
in-
it.
Yeah.
Tim is also in. They just announced it. I saw it the other day. It's like a detective, like kind of DC thing with the Question and Slam Bradley and Detective Chimp and something like that. I saw something about that
Ooh.
recently.
Yeah, I don't.
Speaking of Matt Fraction, since I have to mention it, since Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run is like the greatest comic ever made. Truthfully,
It's so good.
if you guys have or haven't read Matt Fraction's Hawkeye, I highly recommend.
My girlfriend is for some reason the biggest, like she dabbles in reading comics but like she's the biggest Hawkeye hater of all time. I've been begging her to read that run for so long because I know it would change her mind on the character.
It is really
and
good.
and she studies like deaf studies. And I'm like, dude, read
It's right
this.
there.
It's right there. It's the deaf comic book. Like it's all about like sign language and stuff. So Julia, we'll do this question, then we'll do one closing question. What is the next villain in the Batman Part 2 that you guys would like to see? Next big live action Batman
Hush.
villain.
I know people have a problem with Hush as a comic book, but in terms of where we are in Batman, I think it would fit perfectly as a follow-up to Matt Reeves.
I was hinted at in the first one.
I love a fantastical Batman, but we're gonna do that in the DCU. We started Matt Reeves. I don't want something like Clayface or Mr. Freeze or Killer Croc. Just keep it grounded. Let DCU handle the fantastical stuff. I just don't want the pressure of it being fantastical to ruin Matt Reeves' initial vision.
Matt Reeves' vision. That's
I'm also going to say Hush, and I think it's a really good place to explore, because the only problem I have with the Batman is there, and I think it's not really a problem because they could fix it in the sequel. They might have somewhere they're going with this. Is like there's not enough Bruce Wayne in it.
I agree.
I think there needs to be a little more Bruce
You
Wayne.
throw Harvey in the second one, have that connection build. Bruce, he has to, now that the Penguin's up on the rise. Now
I was gonna say Harvey, then Two-Face.
He's linking up with Thomas Elliott now.
Harvey's
that he's
been
back out and
cast,
being Bruce, and,
right?
Yeah, Sebastian.
He
Stan.
has?
So he's going to be in
Sebastian
it.
Stan.
Oh shit! R.I.P.
And Scarlett Johansson
Let's
is
go.
rumored to be cast in it.
Yes, I heard that
You
as
think-
well.
I think she's going to
but I
be.
heard
It could be
Zoe
the
Kravitz
Phantasm.
isn't in it.
It
Yo,
could,
wait,
Phantasm
okay,
could
okay,
also be
wait.
the villain, because I've seen a lot of people saying that she could be playing what's her name?
Beaumont.
Andre
Yeah.
Beaumont.
Yo,
Quincy and I had a conversation about her playing Phantasm.
Yeah, Quincy loves the idea of her Phantasm
okay.
being-
It was her and then like another villain. If Scarlett Johansson was out of the equation, I think the Court of Owls would work because of thing with like Hush being teased. Like they tease like the whole commentary on like social economic status and classism,
Yeah.
right?
So,
and
Court of Owls
the
would be
Court's
cool.
all about.
I would be
Disagree
down
on the Court of
for
Owls.
I disagree on the Court of Owls.
The only reason why
especially
is
for the
be-
sequel.
the only reason is I think Court of Owls is way more inherently fantastical. If you really think about the story, like you need the Bat family for that story. I want to see the Hell Bat, like I want, or whatever it was called that he used at that one.
Yeah.
I think to see those fantastical. I want the undead Talons, and I feel like those won't really fit in Matt Reeves' universe.
I have a gut feeling, and we can reference this years later, but I have a gut feeling that James Gunn, he's not doing it, but the DCU Brave and the Bold Batman is going to be Court of the Owls.
The only Court of the Owls live action appearance we have so far is freaking Gotham Knights.
Gotham. Oh no, they were in Gotham.
They were-
Gotham, not to be confused with Gotham Knights, the TV show. Not
Not
to be confused with
also
Gotham
confused
Knights,
with
the
Gotham
game.
Knights,
Not to be
the
confused with
video
Gotham
game.
Knights.
That was pre-met.
The comic series.
The comics.
Yeah.
Oh, and Gotham Knights 2 that followed that. Not to
And
be
that-
confused with the Gotham football team, the Gotham Knights.
Not,
That was a deep cut. That
or
was
the
good.
animated movie.
Ball knowledge.
Or the fucking Batman the animated series in Europe was called Gotham Knights.
What? Was it?
It was the New Adventures.
I love naming
Oh.
conventions, you guys. It's so great.
Not to be
So-
confused with Dark Knights of Steel, which is Batman in the time of the Knights. So,
Oh god.
yeah.
Court of Owls could be cool if they make it grounded. Like they could. All right, maybe this would betray it too much. But if you make it an eyes wide shut situation,
Yeah, that's what I
like
was
I feel
thinking.
like that would be interesting to watch. Like
I-
a,
But the
versus like
memes-
a
but the memes
like
and
an
Batman
Illuminati
losing
kind of
his mind.
situation. I think that would,
So
I agree. Court
I-
of Owls would work
I
fine.
understand.
It'd work perfectly.
I
It would just, like,
understand that it goes against the whole mystical elements of it, but I think it would be
My thing with the Court of Owls, and this is like I don't know if you guys are going to agree with this, but I'm going to say it specifically for Matt Reeves' Batman. I think my problem with the Court of Owls is the first movie did so much work to set up the mob and the corrupt cops and Gotham being
Yeah.
corrupt through those ways. And like after the Waynes died, the mob took over and got involved in everything, and the cops became corrupt and all of this stuff. And that's why Gotham is a shithole. That's how Gotham is the way it is. I feel like if in the next movie you turn around and say, but actually it was the secret society of ninjas the whole time.
Yes.
I think that
Yes.
undermines all the work that the first movie did to build up the mob and the mafia and the crime families.
Dude, you
That's-
just cracked it. The villain of part 2 is Tiger Shark.
What
That's
the
who
fuck?
it is. That's who it is. The mob, and it makes so much sense now. And his right hand man, the Great White Shark.
The Great White Shark, bro.
I see where you're coming from with that opinion. However, I think because they set up the whole like Thomas Wayne stuff with Batman and his dad being like not the most saintest person ever, I think it could still work as in the mob runs the dirt and then the rich elite profit kind of situation. And you know, you could bring in Bruce Wayne more because he gets to go to the Court of Owl events under the guise of being another rich guy who wants to join, kind of.
I agree.
It's
I think
possible.
it'll 100% work. I feel like it wouldn't. It would have
I
to
just-
take a lot of the best aspects from Court of Owls and
Sure.
make them so realistic to the point where it's like you're just doing a secret cult at this point.
Yeah,
I-
you're
I
just doing
also-
eyes wide shut.
I
Yeah.
could see you would have to avoid. For me, you would have to avoid the "it was me all along" moment.
Yeah.
Like you would have to avoid that.
Sure.
But if they do Hush, and he also like
Hush.
takes, like does the stuff from Heart of Hush where he like takes Bruce Wayne's face.
Identity, yeah.
Oh, like Bruce is I need like Bruce Wayne is just as important as Batman is, and if somebody else is messing with my Bruce Wayne stuff, Batman is gonna also be messed with.
And the whole
Like,
serial killer aspect that Matt Reeves pulled for the first one for Riddler, and they could totally do with Hush as well. Like he's killing people, he's using their faces to access certain things and do all these things, and then you could tie that back,
Yes.
like you said, to Bruce and his face. And I think a really cool, interesting serial killer story with Hush.
I think the idea of Bruce having this childhood friend who was his friend, his rival, his bully, would work well for this kind of emotionally more closed off version of Batman.
yeah.
As far as my villains, I wouldn't want to go full fantastical. I'm a big believer in director freedom and stuff like that, so I wouldn't
Yeah, of
want
course.
to make Matt Reeves do anything that he didn't want to do. That being said, I've always been a Mr. Freeze fan, and I know you said you want to go
Mr.
for...
Freeze.
He's not my number one pick, but
There's a way that it works. I will say
That's what I was
it's
gonna
tough, but there is a
It's
way
not
that
that
it works.
fantastical.
like
Yes.
that's what I was gonna say. If you just do it through a little bit of advanced technology, like Iron Man 1, I would argue is a pretty grounded movie.
Yeah.
It's Iron Man
Well, you
1.
don't even have to go advanced with Mr. Freeze because, again, you're tying it into this mystery thriller serial killer. So you could just have him be a scientist who's trying to get, I don't know, body parts or whatever for his wife who's in a coma, and he's a serial killer in that aspect. I saw a concept art where he had, like, hydrogen tanks hooked up to his back with,
Yeah.
like, tubes coming out of his arms, and he can use those as freeze. There's
That's what I was
ways you
gonna
can make
say.
it
There's
grounded.
a way to
without having
make it work without breaking
Yeah.
his. Like I think Clayface would break Matt Reeves' vision. I think Mr. Freeze, you could skirt the line.
Gotham, you can have the weather freeze all the water, and
Freeze all
that's
the
why
water.
it's frozen. Yeah.
If I had to bet money, I would bet it on being something to do with Hush. Or the rumors I'm hearing is it's either Hush or some version of like Golden Age Clayface, where he's like a serial
think
killer,
that-
but not the clay stuff.
I heard that a while ago, but I think that got scrapped once they did they worked on
Clayface
like the
movie.
Clayface solo movie.
Yeah,
My
you
other
might be
pick
right.
and this is a wild pick, and this is entirely a me pick, because I don't even think this villain can carry his own movie, but he's
A
grounded.
Joker. No. Okay.
I don't want to see that clown for the next 5 Batman
Well,
movies.
but he was in the end credits scene. of
That
this
is the worst
one.
scene
Let
in
him
that
be
movie.
like Hannibal Lecter. Let him
The Joker,
like,
Oversee.
the Joker scene in the Batman is the one scene in that movie that kind of takes me out of it. Like
I mean,
don't
I think that's a common opinion. I don't think
Wait,
that
the
take
deleted
is
scene?
common.
the
at the
scene of
end.
him, it's of him in Arkham.
It's
like
Let's
Riddler in prison.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
like.
yeah.
I like the Matt Reeves designs. I like the Batsuit. I'm okay with the Gimp mask Riddler. I like the Penguin design. I don't like the Barry Keoghan Joker design.
I actually think it's pretty gnarly.
I
think
rock
it's
with it
cool.
as well. I think it's
Yeah.
really cool, and I'm
It's like
excited.
a
A
whole
lot of
different-
people
Forget what it
have the
looks
Joker
like.
fatigue, and I get it because I have it too. But I feel like people
I
got to
don't-
realize he's the moneymaker. Batman versus Joker is
Batman
is
versus
moneymaker. So you put him in a
I-
movie, it's gonna make $1 billion. It's just
My
what
thing
it
is, we just had 2 Joker movies without Batman, and I don't even really to acknowledge those movies, the Joker fucking Joaquin Phoenix movies. So
First one's great. Second one's is
The first one's
That
not
one
that
was
bad.
bad.
First one's not that bad, but once I watched Taxi Driver, I was like, oh, this is just.
Isn't it
Well,
just
King
like
of
a 1-to-1
Comedy
of
better,
King
yeah.
of Comedy? Yeah.
Anyway, the other villain choice that I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Because he's grounded enough to work in Matt Reeves' Batman, and I have a very fun idea of how I would do him. I really like the fucking ventriloquist, man. I really like that stupid fucking puppet. Because he's a gangster, so you don't have to do fantastical, and he is just a guy with a puppet. But the way I would do it is I would have 1 or 2 scenes where the puppet is not in his hand. Like, the puppet's just, like, sitting on a desk or something. Batman, like, turns around. He looks back at it, and the heads turn the opposite direction. Fucking with the idea of, is that puppet alive? Is he, like, maybe do a little bit of, like, mindfucky stuff with it. Plus, he's a gangster. He's grounded enough to be in the Matt Reeves villain. Even if he's, like, the cold open villain. Like, it's Batman stopping a bank robbery and fucking little puppet guy. That's fun to me.
I like Victor Zsasz as like a side villain. But
Victor Zsasz
Professor
is-
Pig.
Oh,
Professor
Professor
Matt
Pig.
Reeves Batman
That's
villain.
a Matt Reeves Batman villain.
Yo, that was so
Professor
good.
Pig
would be
Yeah.
insane.
Pig would be good, but I also want to not do just another serial killer because Riddler was a serial killer, so I don't want to.
I mean,
do this
I want them to keep the same vibe, like a serial killer, but different motivations,
different
calling
motivation,
cards.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Now-
he mirrored Riddler after the Zodiac Killer.
Yes.
Joker's very Hannibal Lecter. I would love to see them explore these serial killer aspects in Batman.
Ted Bundy.
villains
Yeah.
going forward.
Ted
Yeah.
Bundy.
Well,
They could do like
Tom
Ed
Sawyer.
Gein, who was like cutting people's faces off. That's Hush.
Yeah, for sure.
That's real life Hush.
What about DCU Batman?
Like I said,
the League of Assassins and Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Like Ra's al Ghul, League of Assassins, and then Deathstroke would be like
Sure.
a partial
Is-
villain in it.
If you're doing Damian, here's the thing: if I was doing
Damian.
DCU Batman, I wouldn't start with Damian. I would start with either Tim or Jason.
I think they will start with Damian though.
That's what like Gunn announced.
I think
that
they
out
should
the
have started
gate.
with Tim. Or
Tim.
they're going to start with Tim and then introduce Damian probably. Because like
Which I don't-
Tim will probably be Robin, would he not? Unless they just forget about Tim. If they forget about Tim,
If everyone
Oh,
fucking forgets
God.
about my boy, and look, if I was
Tim,
doing
the
DCU
goat Drake.
Batman, I would do like the first movie of DCU Batman be Jason is dead, Bruce is dealing with the trauma and repercussions of that, and Tim is the light in that movie of bringing Bruce back. To...
and then they would be introducing Damian. Like I
No,
would say,
give me like
you would introduce Damian after Tim's been Robin for a movie.
that's what I'm saying. You would have to do Tim as Robin for at least one movie outside of.
I think Deathstroke would be a really good villain for that movie because I think they're doing a Teen Titans movie. Like Deathstroke's a big villain. I think he's Batman level. He's never really been done justice in live action. I mean the Arrow.
I like
Deathstroke.
Arrow Deathstroke, but as its
Yeah, I
own
do.
We
Yeah.
villain.
talking about Will Smith, bro.
Dead-
Yeah.
That's
God, bro.
Oh
Come
shit!
on.
I'm so dumb.
Titans Deathstroke was kind of fire too,
I
even though
did
that
the
show had
classic blunder.
Titans, I fucking hate. I can tolerate CW garbage. I can't tolerate Titans.
I don't like
It's good
It
for
took
2
itself
seasons.
too
and then it's
seriously.
just Under the Red Hood season, without Batman, atrocious.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Like,
but he
he
was
felt
just
like a
Bruce the whole
slave.
time.
Like he didn't feel like his own like badass presence. Like he was just like a slave to Scarecrow. Do my bidding.
Exactly.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And I'm like, and then the whole scene where he's like, Red Hood is back. Yeah. I'm like, bro,
Oh,
what?
it's back.
And his
big
freaking
fuckers.
huge helmet.
When the first project Quincy and I worked on, we made like a shitty Batman trailer.
You're a Batman
I
trailer.
gotta show you. I gotta show you.
It sucks, but we got an A on it. I actually
Yeah.
just got gifted this cowl. It's based on like the new 52. It's got the little triangle
That's
chin
fire.
strap on it.
The one in my closet.
I have the Bale one on the other side of my room. That's another like side little hobby of mine. I do cosplay when I go to like conventions and stuff. Batman, Green Arrow, and Daredevil are my main ones that I do. I have a Spider-Man suit, but I hate it.
Probably
I'm
did
sure
a
if I'm
Batman
a-
costume when I was like 8,
Yeah.
but
I'm
I
a-
have no
Fuck it.
surviving photos of that at all. I don't.
I did Scarlet Spider, Constantine, and then I did Beast Boy for Halloween this year with my girlfriend. I had to paint my entire body green. It was not
Nice.
fun. Body, but like all the visible parts of my body were green. It was a
Did the
lengthy.
paint-
Huh?
Did the paint itch? Or was
No,
it,
no.
like,
I mean, it was body
uncomfortable?
paint, so it didn't really itch. It
Oh,
was just a
okay.
pain in the butt doing it all because you had.
Yeah, I think I
I
saw that costume when you posted on your
Yeah.
TikTok, and it looks really good. You killed it. I'm not gonna lie.
Appreciate you.
I think
Alright,
2026 is the year I do Spider-Man. It has to be.
Do it.
It's gotta be.
we should everybody should be Nightwing next year. We
Yeah.
should piss everybody off.
Oh yeah.
Already
yeah.
Facts. I'm literally him. What are you talking?
Okay, closing question.
Yeah.
All right, how can we bring this all together? What does we went over this already?
How do you feel about Batman?
Cool.
It's all right.
It's
all right.
We did about it for 3 hours.
Our episode on
Yeah, it's
Spider-Man.
been down here 3 hours. Goddamn.
Yeah, everybody can just if they have any
Best
closing
Batman
remarks. You
game.
don't have to have a question. If there's any closing remarks on Batman, he's fucking awesome. Like clearly, we have this group of people that loves him so much, and like
Council of Batman.
Council of Batman, yeah. And like he's such like a pivotal character to like American culture, and arguably he nowadays is the most popular superhero of them all. Spider-Man, Superman, he's up there, but he's a very important superhero, and I think he gets more and more popular with each generation. Like I said before, like where the creators are building on each other, and just nobody does it like Batman. He's the GOAT.
No, really. And
He's
like,
just the GOAT.
I do get a little bit like some people are like, Batman's so popular, get annoyed at how popular he is because like their favorite doesn't get anything. But at the same
True.
time, like, he's just him. Like, people love him. He is just.
If you don't
the
like
best.
him, you're just wrong.
He's that guy.
We definitely should have done the Jubilee
Not an
thing,
opinion, you're
though.
wrong.
Like, we should have found some like
Oh, it would've been so
basement
good.
dweller to be like, I hate Batman.
So I have my brother.
Actually, he's
My
not
brother is
trash.
like a huge Batman hater.
Really?
And he's like a Spider-Man fanboy. But Chris would have known that he was the hater. So I was like, oh, if I have my brother on, Chris would have known who was the hater. So
Okay.
I had an option, but getting him on this would have been a whole ordeal. But he was always like, I hate Batman. I don't want to see anything with Batman. Don't put on any Batman shows. Like,
I don't
no Batman.
like Batman's high art, man.
Yes.
And I mean that like I say that half jokingly, but
Get out of here, Leonardo da Vinci. Let's talk about the real shit. Batman.
Yeah,
comic.
Batman.
Batman, bro.
Batman:
Hell
The
yeah.
Long Halloween, Batman: Arkham Asylum, Mysterious House on
Serious
Serious
Earth.
Earth. All right, everybody say their favorite Batman thing ever, like period. It could be a comic, it could be a show. Just say it. Mine is Long Halloween, Batman: Long Halloween. Love it. First Batman comic, first comic I ever read. I love it so much. Quincy,
I would say the Batman comics of the 80s to like the early to mid 2000s. So encapsulating that era.
Yep.
everything.
Post-crisis
okay.
Batman.
Ryan?
I would say personally for me it's Batman Beyond. Even though it doesn't really focus on Bruce Wayne, I do believe it's realistic what would happen afterwards if Bruce Wayne wants to keep the mantle. My favorite part of the introduction is when Bruce Wayne pulls out a gun and it shows us like he can't really keep doing
His
this.
body gave out.
He gave out. But even though Terry takes over, I still like how Bruce always checks in. And even during the ending, when he's 80 or 90, he's still checking in. And I think I personally like Batman Beyond. That's my favorite Batman project.
Yeah.
Rob.
It's hard for me to pick a favorite. I'm gonna give you my top four.
Oh my
Fuck,
god.
it's hard.
Oh, you
Alright,
gotta pick
fine.
one. You gotta pick one. That's the
All right, then
Yeah.
Batman the animated series, and
Okay,
I'm gonna
good.
use that encompassing and say Batman throughout the DCAU, because
You can. That's fair.
so
you can say that.
includes him in Justice League, Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, the animated movies. DCAU Batman is my number one.
Chris.
I'm gonna say Lego Batman because it's what got me into bro. Go with that.
Would you say All Star Batman and Robin?
No,
that's
no,
what I
I
heard,
did
too.
not say. I did. Yo, relax. I did not say some bullshit like that. I said peak Lego
Not
Batman.
to be confused with All Star Batman, which
by
is
Scott
peak.
Snyder. Yeah.
That's a
well,
Yeah.
besides the
funny
John
fucking-
Romita Jr. art.
Funny ass story about that, real quick. My friend, after seeing Superman, bought All Star Superman and really liked it. And he was like, okay, I want to read a Batman comic now. So he's like, let me buy All Star Batman because it's All Star. So it has to be like the same level of quality as All Star Superman. And I'm like, no,
Nah, but it's still really good.
it's good. But what was frustrating is we had given him a Batman reading order. It's here. Long Halloween. It's $10 for the compact comic. Just buy Long Halloween and start there. And he was like, nah, I'm going to get All Star Batman. It's all right.
Exactly.
Right.
All right, Cosmic, your favorite Batman thing.
That's Under the Red Hood. The comic, I love it. It's amazing.
See, nobody here gave the same answer, which is so cool to me.
It's so cool.
Like
and
everybody.
speaks to Batman so much.
Yeah. So just thank you everyone for being here. This was seriously so
This was a lot
fun.
of fun.
you for having
Thank you
us.
for having me.
Yeah, this was a great episode, and God bless Batman. We love Batman. Hail
God
Batman.
bless Batman. All hail Batman.
Our father,
Yes.
our Batman, who art in Gotham, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy-
All right.
Towel be thy
Thank
name.
you
But we'll
guys
end it on that note.
having me.
Thank you, everybody.